Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first coverage actually of the Challenger League Season 11, I believe. Open Qualifiers number 2. We will be casting a few games tonight. I, myself, am Hans, joined today by the wonderful. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Jenna, aka Giraffe Row. I've been Hans' co-caster for a few months now, so definitely not a fresh face to the scene here. I'm obviously not an ESL caster myself, but Hans is, so I will be along for the ride tonight. Now, Hans, we have not casted since the invitational qualifier, so forgive us if we are a little bit rusty. It has been quite a while. We've taken a little bit of an extended break while we're, doing our own thing. So it's been pretty good, but yeah, we're definitely ready to get back into it. Just as I say that, let's get into our first map, which is going to be Villa. So yeah, I'll do a quick coverage on the actual bands themselves. Villa is a really interesting map to me because me personally, I don't know as much as I would say a normal given map like Clubhouse or Consulate maps that I actually normally cast on. So this is in a way, a bit of a newer experience for me. So our first band is going to be Habana. That's somewhat logical considering that study and games room is going to be a big objective to hold along with the master bedroom wall. So yeah, getting Habana out of the way, getting a hard breacher out of the way is going to be opportunities lost for the attack as well as opportunities given to the defense. So just good overall, logical, I could say. And then Jekyll. Yeah, again, another good ban coming from uh, fans here because obviously with Jekyll being an anti-roam, you want to have as much roaming capabilities as possible, and with Villa being a map that has a lot of different hallways, a lot of opportunities for the defenders to flank, kind of give up some space to themselves, give some space, take some space away from the attackers, really. And then Mira, of course, yeah, Mira is going to be a big ban as well, being that there's a lot of reinforced walls going into this map, going into lots of objectives of this map. So you can imagine that taking Mira out of the equation is going to be a really big hit to any defense strategy you can imagine with her, along with really any intel defense strategy. And the last ban will be Echo. So yeah, we can see Mira, Jackal, and Echo being, three logical picks. Any picks that you'd want on really just any type of map. They're normal picks, right? Kind of even ranked esque picks. But Habana is going to be your one Villa unique pick, being that it is hard breacher unique to Villa, and the fact that she is taken out of the game is going to be something interesting to see throughout the rounds.
Absolutely. First of all, here right now, I'd just like to point out the presence of Goyo. So I really do hope for the fans team that they will six pick, but they will not, as Elvis here is choosing to swap out Pulse for a Bandit. So if I am not mistaken, Goyo is kind of forbidden here, so that would force fans into a team kill if they want to comply with the rules, which would be a truly unfortunate start for them here. I will not intervene as we must have no impact on the game whatsoever, but I will point out that it would be quite unfortunate to have such a beginning here.
I'm not quite sure, but I do believe that use of Nagoyo is banned. We could probably take a little bit of a look see here at the rules.
As it would
Um,
be unfortunate to have such a to start on such a an easy mistake. So yeah, if you just control F in the rules and if you find Goyo, you'll know it pretty quickly, or if you just look up banned operators. But yeah, no, Goyo, no, sorry, my bad. We are no longer in Amber Rise. Wow, I am living in the past.
yeah,
My
I was gonna
bad.
say because I was gonna say
Wow.
I was a little bit fishy there, a little bit fishy. No, but of course it is a yeah. Go isn't bad. So we kind of retract that statement, take it back.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah, that's embarrassing for me.
yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You know what? I think we all need a little bit of a breather here, but yeah, something interesting to point out again is going to be the use of Goyo, being that he is a fairly new operator in the actual phase of picking here. So the fact that he is being used, meaning that we can assume that Fans has actually practiced with him as an operator. So
Probably
being a,
indeed, yeah.
yeah, yeah, right. So being able to kind of integrate a newer operator into your lineup is really a feat of its own. So I'd have to say, good on them, and hopefully they can use Goyo in a way that is going to benefit them throughout this round. But that is all I'm going to say on Goyo, as lots of things are happening here. So kitchen control is going to be contested by the attackers now, and of course with no contest from the defenders themselves. Something interesting on that front, especially considering that the defenders do have a lot of space to roam around and kind of take the opportunities away from the attackers. But yeah, in the end, they will be putting more of an emphasis on master bedroom, which is again something I kind of predicted in the beginning. So yeah, we can definitely expect or really assume throughout the round that yes, the red is going to be grabbing at least a reinforced wall coming from master bedroom and or closet.
Definitely. So the push here has nothing surprising or too unexpected coming its way. However, we will see here the Fire claiming the first victim here. First blood is going to be in Bosak's favor, who will turn that Goyo shield against the defending teams. As I say that, Goyo himself will be in a bit of a pickle here. He is obviously roaming. I believe it was Storms that was trying to get rid of him. He will fail to do that, however, but the nade here might just get in kill. But oh no! We have Bao and Hero who moved at the last second, and he will just jump down here, get a nice little kill that will obviously help to alleviate the pressure on the objective, but the defenders are still at a numerical disadvantage as I say this. However, a kill and refrag will happen for the defenders.
Yeah, lots of kills going on as Fens is going to be down one player to Psychopath's health and players in all. It is going to be an uphill battle here, especially as the diffuser is planted. So they're going to have to play methodically, and they're going to have to play off the good engagements. 2v2 situation. It's going to be Goyo that picks up one another from Maestro. This suddenly has become a winnable engagement for the defenders. As long as Zofia keeps her will, though, she might be able to win this one out. It's going to be 1v1 for Zofia. Will the Maestro be able to pick up the final kill? We'll have to see. Time is ticking. Zofia is going to have to make a move here. She is going to pick up the last kill. Attackers winning out round one. That was a great round for them.
What a round, indeed. They had a good few entry frags. They did not really were able to flush out the roamers, but that didn't really matter because they were able to flush out the defenders on the objective itself, which in turn allowed them to plant the diffuser. And from that point on, the defenders had no control on the objective. And oh, I am still using replays from the previous. Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry about that. I really did find it odd how many replays we had. So sorry for that, but today's replays will show right after that round. Yeah. So do you want to talk about the round? Do you want to take it off?
Yeah, so I kind of just wanted to add on a little bit to what you had said previously. So the first engagement, actually, a couple quick entry frags for the attackers, right? They were able to get pretty decent control of master bedroom. The first engagement being 1 minute left in the round, so the attackers in a way knew what they were doing, right? They were able to pace their attack out. They were able to get really good timing on the objective and make a very swift execute, knowing where the defenders were. I mean, of course, there was a little bit of collateral. We're going to see Jaeger able to get a kill, but he was quickly refragged, which is definitely a good sign for the attackers, and especially with the actual gain on players that the attack had on the defense. It really came down to being able to put as many bodies as you can on the objective itself, and it really just in wraps for the attackers. Of course, the defenders were able to make a little bit of a comeback, but Sophia able to tie it back down for her team and win out the round. Easy as that.
Yeah, to be honest, it was kind of a close call, and yeah, people are saying he's allowed to play, referring to Goyo.
Yeah.
That was an epic fail. Epic fail is allowed to be typed in the chat. Coming here, talking about the second round. We are going to be aviation. We have not seen too much of the preparation phase due to the elongated replays. Once again, my bad on that front. But if you want to look at the composition real quick, I would expect to hear Duck and Maestro to be roaming around the objective. Jolton probably is going to be staying. Well, he will be using the cameras inside the objective itself, leaving us with Elvis and Wolfseas, who will be our two roamers in that situation. And the attackers here, the Psychopaths gaming team, does not appear to be going directly for the throat. They won't be pushing the objective directly. Rather, they will insert themselves into Master's bedroom and will be will be making their way to the aviations, sorry, from that angle. Wolfsy's here finding himself in the first firefight. He's pretty much alone. You can see the full brunt of Psychopath's push is going to be coming towards him, and he has very little allies to help him out in that situation.
Yeah, as long as the other defender that is roaming, I believe, yeah, it is going to be Pulse. As long as he's able to make a pretty quick flank within the next coming minutes here, he might actually be able to make a very good impact on the round. Yeah, we're going to see him coming up pantry here, so might be able to get behind the defenders, or sorry, the attackers, if time does prove on his side, but that is going to be in such due time. And with Jaeger, he's going to have to be taking engagements for himself. He is going to be picking up a kill, but a quick refrag as he attempts to make it up the stairs, unfortunately met with lots of bullets. A quick engagements though. We're going to see 1v4. Thermite left on his own with his wits and less than half health, so it doesn't really seem like too much of a chance here for him to win. So yeah, we'll actually take the opportunity here to talk about the round. Hans, would you like anything specific to talk about?
I found it interesting how a single, not really Rome at this point, but how a single defender, Jaeger in that instance, was able to stop the full force of Psychopaths gaming and basically stop them dead in their tracks. That was quite surprising. Admittedly, Pulse's Nitro Cell did help, but to be fair, Psychopaths were well immobile at that point, and that really allowed the Nitro Cell to get the kill in the first place. So all in all, no matter what happens from now on, Jaeger will definitely get MVP for that round.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we can definitely chalk it up to Jaeger. You know, he was the impact fragger of the round. We can definitely say that with pure and utter confidence, right? He was able to give lots of intel. He was able to hold his position for a substantial amount of time, get good frags, and even allow his supporting defender to come in and pick up another frag for the team. So at that point, it really just cemented their win by the time that the Jaeger died. So again, like I had said previously, with the 1v4 situation, there isn't really too much to talk about left in the round. So, it's basically the end of the round.
Indeed, the timer also really did run short, surprisingly enough, because it did not seem to me as if it was that long before Bosak here was able to get rid of that pesky Jaeger played by Wolfseas, I believe. So once again, props to Wolfseas. So Twist here found himself in a 1v4 situation with barely 11 seconds remaining. He got 2 quick kills, so quick that the replays overlap over each other. But at the end of the day, it was just not enough. LSG here had really a free kill at that point, and I don't think anybody would have forgiven him should he have missed, or should he have allowed that diffuser from getting to get planted. So scoreline is now 1-1. The sample is still pretty small, admittedly, but the teams seem to be more or less, well, on an equal footing. We will go statuary again, as fans failed to defend that bomb site previously. So we'll not be seeing too much action on the first floor for another round here at the very least. But the composition and the meta thus will be evolving ever so slightly. LSG bringing Mozzie this time. So this seems to me like it's going to be just a tiny bit bigger emphasis on the roaming capabilities here.
Yeah, we could definitely agree on that statement, but kind of taking a transition into team composition as is. Yeah, so Mozzie, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you talked about this previously. I wasn't able to. I was kind of fixing my mic here, so wasn't able to really get in on the last conversation. But Mozzie, right? We can obviously see that there's going to be the use of 3 different intel operators, right? Mozzie,
Indeed.
Maestro, and Valkyrie.
Yes.
So, yeah, of course we can see that there is going to be lots and lots of intel going down for the defense. Now, my question is, why? Okay, so with the with the use of this actual bomb site, why do you think? I'll actually pose the question on you for once. Why do you think that there's going to be lots and lots of intel being used?
To be honest, I'm not really sure. If you look at the Psychopath's push, there is not really too much that's out of the ordinary. They're not really playing on misinformation. Like, Thermite will be opening up these reinforced walls, and the Psychopaths are making no secret of where they're going to be coming from. So if you look at it this way, you don't really need that much intel. You could have an evil eye in the bedroom to kind of sabotage one of the breaching charges of the of Thermite's charges, but the impact nades can do just the same amount of damage, if not even more. Looking at the nitro cell here, that will get nobody, but will take away a bit of Bosak's health. It's nothing too dramatical, however. But yeah, those cams, I'm not exactly sure. Mostly to watch their backs, I'd assume, because Master Bedroom in and of itself doesn't need to be watched too closely. Other than that, it's a mystery to me as well.
Okay, so something interesting to point out that I did not previously see is the fact that Thermite, he now has no exothermic charges available for himself. Yeah, you
Indeed.
can see that he has no exothermic charges. He has actually no flash grenades either, so he doesn't have the ability to burn out those Jaeger ADSs. That's going to come down to basically a bottleneck for the attacking push, right? So they aren't able to get through the actual objective with that outlet. They obviously were able to get down one exothermic charge, but is it going to be enough, really? We're gonna have to see as the time kind of ticks down here. It's gonna be 30 seconds left on the clock. There is going to be a defuse attempt going down for the attack, and with great success. So 2v4 situation, Thermite down. So a 1v4 situation. Thatcher all left on his own. Up to the defense really to take this one for themselves.
And here we go, Elvis with that nifty little flank will be able to get the kill. Admittedly, it was more or less a 2v3 as Jolton was down. He's just been revived since. But at the end of the day, it really does not matter too much as fans will be winning the third round, putting them at a 2-1 scoreline here. They will be taking the lead, though it is a very, very small and slight lead. However, having won 2 rounds in a row, both in aviation and statues, they will now be forced to go on the first floor, which we have not seen so far. So there you go. That's going to be a small little new thing that's going to be added to the game, or to the match here, a new bomb point. If you want to look back at that round, kills were simply missing on Psychopath's part. They were able to plant the diffuser, but if you cannot hold it, as we see right here, it is worth next to nothing.
Right, so let's actually look in the future here
Yes.
rather than analyzing last round kitchen. So that's going to be the tertiary site chosen for fans, obviously, with the use of Castle, Maestro, Mazi, and I believe yeah, is going to be Jaeger and Mute. So kitchen itself. Kitchen's a quite an interesting bomb site, especially because there's lots and lots of outlets for the attackers to get in, right? There's,
Yes.
I believe, 3 to 4
Let's
doorways
take
at
a look.
least. Yeah.
So you have that doorway right here. Technically, you could use the staircase and use a thermite here, which would grant you basically the same vector of approach. You do have the pantry here, which will be barricaded by a castle barricade. That door here, the outside, which can be quite easily held if you plant the diffuser right in the doorway, the hatch, and should you even want to rappel up that window, you have a really tricky angle to counter. Um, let's not forget that all of the ceiling is going to be soft and destructible. As you said, there's lots and lots of angles to come in from, and even more to shoot into the objective from. Once again, the floor itself does not really have a hatch directly into the objective, so you can't jump down from the top floor, but you can hold really, really dangerous angles from there.
Yeah, so we can actually assume that it really isn't out of Psychopath's range for them to do an end-all be-all push into Master Bedroom to gain control, right? Because if you are able to gain control of Master Bedroom, you get so many opportunities into the objective, right? You get the whole floor above the objective, not to add the fact that you're going to get that little tiny closet right next to the living room area. I believe that's what it's called, I'm not quite sure, but you also get control of a couple hatches around the objective. So it really gives you a broad scope of areas to really push in from, and it just gives you a foothold into the map that's completely unprecedented. But as I had said that, there's actually some engagements going on. So Buck is going to be downed along with Mute taking collateral. So if we want to talk about impact frags, we can definitely say that Buck is pretty high up there,
Indeed.
especially, yes, because he has those frag grenades, those beautiful frag grenades that he unfortunately did not get to use, but he was able to take out one defender. Unfortunately, he did get refragged, but we could
He did
definitely say, yeah,
He
it
did
was
also
pretty good.
bring a lot of verticality to the game, didn't he? With the
Right,
skeleton key, which will also be missing now.
right.
Kill-wise, however, it is going to be a 3v3, and the clock is slowly but surely ticking down. So far, definitely Buck, and now Nomad, a very important utility-wise operator to remove from Psychopath's inventory. However, if you look at the
Mm-hmm.
defenders, we did not really lose any VIP gadgets, if I want to put it that way. So far, even though the number of players remaining on the team is the same on both sides, I'd say Psychopaths are going to be in a bit of a pickle here.
Yeah, they really are. They did lose a lot of utility throughout the round so far. Of course, they do retain the Thermite Thatcher, which is a good note for them to be sitting on here. But with a 3v1 engagement, wow, that happened all so fast. We'll be seeing Jaeger slowly being left to get back to the objective and have to, unfortunately, retake a plan. So, yeah, this has become a retake situation that Jaeger's going to have to get himself into. We kind of did predict this situation going down. There's going to be lots of angles that the attackers can hold from outside, so it really is going to be an uphill battle for him to win out these engagements. Of course, not entirely impossible, but in the end, very, very hard.
So yeah, Wolfseas here really does not know where his opponents are going to be. He's playing off lot, gets a first kill, but will be refragged immediately. He never knew and never saw Bosak's fire coming. That explosion kind of was a distraction, wasn't it? At the end of the day, that plant happened beautifully. And just to rephrase what you said, it was predictable. That outcome, really, there are so many ways to enter that objective, and it's pretty hard to deny access altogether to the kitchen. The plant was predictable. It really came down to the fact that they were able to protect the diffuser, which was made so easy by the kills and different frags that happened previous to the diffuser being planted. All in all, I just have to commend Psychopaths for their execution here. There's nothing or no obvious mistake that I have to point towards, and that just led to them winning the round, didn't it?
I mean, if I were to play the devil's advocate on that statement, no obvious mistakes, you can you really really see, right, how the impact frags led to an alternative route that the attackers had to take, right? So what
Fair
I
enough.
mean by this, yeah, is the fact that since the Buck and the Nomad were down, they then had to, instead of making an emphasis on verticality, they had to go downstairs and open up the actual main wall to the objective, right? I mean, of course, we can imagine that they were going to do that anyways, but it really forced them to do that earlier in the round rather than kind of making out the angles, really just playing off of an easier pace and being able to make more frags for themselves. It made for really rocky waters having to get to the objective, right? It didn't really allow them very much wiggle room when it came to planting, but in the end, it was a beautiful execute, I would have to say, right? And the fact that they used the verticality to their advantage right at the end with the Zofia getting the kill on the Jaeger was very well played.
If we want to take a look at the current round here, we're going to be coming back to aviation, and the composition is going to be quite interesting. Meaning it's pretty much, as far as I can remember, the exact same composition as the last time that we were here, and you do remember how it went down. Wolfseas staying in those red stairs, being an absolute pest, an absolute nightmare for Psychopaths, and it all played out from there. So let's see if history is doomed to repeat itself, or if Psychopaths are going to be able to learn from their mistakes and to find a better way of pushing into the objective. It does seem to me as if they're going to be going for more or less the same execute. They're coming off Master Bedroom, and they will use the main corridors to go up to the objective. Will Wolfseas still be there to intercept them, though?
Yeah, that really is going to be the big question, considering that Jaeger right now he's playing a little bit more conservatively with angle holding and staying on red stairs itself. He obviously staying on the bottom half of the stairs, meaning that he isn't really going to be taking those head-on engagements, but he is still going to be able to feed the intel and potentially make a flank for the attackers themselves. So of course, it does put him in a good position, but in the end, is it really going to be enough? Is he going to make that much of an impact as he really wants to? Now, we will be seeing the first kill, just as I say that, 2 kills. It's going to be double kill, 3v5. Wolfsy picking up one, but he's going to get refragged out, unfortunately. Still, remains to be an impact frag considering that Nomad and Thatcher are down for the round. Those are two big utility operators that Psychopaths did not want to miss out on.
Indeed, and now it looks like we're going to be pretty much ready to push into the objective itself. Let's see if Storm is able to get a kill here. He apparently does not, but he didn't take any fire in return, so it's only a few seconds lost for them. That nifty camera still has not apparently been detected, and that's going to be really useful to feed intel to the fans, guys, as the push is sure to be coming down. It is obviously in Storm's field of vision, but he does not spot it, and should the defenders be able to act upon that intel, the Storms could be in a bit of a trouble here. Valkyrie Elvis still has a Nitro Cell, but that will be worthless as Doc is able to put Bosak, I believe, down. However, he will be picked up by his teammates pretty quickly. That Nitro Cell will be used in on the ceiling. Will we get a kill here? We will! Storms, who's just been revived, will be put down once and for all. Twist, now the last player alive. Will he get the first kill? He does not! Fans winning round 5 here. Their aviation defense has yet to be bested by Psychopaths Gaming.
Definitely. That was an unfortunate end to a very powerful, really man heavy attack. One sided, to say the least, coming from Psychopaths. Again, it was predictable. They played out the almost same exact execute as before. Wolfsy's even better this time, able to get good frags on the round and cement the win. I mean, we can definitely say with that 3v5 situation that it did not look very good at the beginning of the round for Psychopaths, especially not after the kill with Smoke and with the Nitro Cell. It was all going downhill by that point, and you can also say that with the push, very man heavy, right? Like I was saying, it kind of going back to that circling around man heavy, and they didn't really make an emphasis on two different areas. You know, lots of high level competitive play. You're gonna see an emphasis on two different areas, right? A duality to the push, if you will. You're gonna see, you know, for example, somebody coming from red stairs while somebody comes from 90, right? It's making that push, that high level play, having the chemistry with your teammates to say, I'm gonna go this spot, you go this spot, let's meet up and let's get the frags in between. And even so, we'll probably get some intel in the meantime. So the fact that they weren't able to do that kind of speaks volumes in terms of, well, gameplay, decision making, and all around leadership of how that round went out.
Quite interestingly here, I do see a bit less of an emphasis on the roaming capabilities. Fans seem to only have LSG here, who will not be sitting on or directly next to the objective. And it's going to be somewhat surprising, as I say this, however, Wolfsy's also left the OBJ. We have seen a couple of ceiling natural cell kills here, so I was kind of hoping to see them have a bit of a bigger emphasis, you know, on that playstyle, as a natural cell kill is always quite satisfying, and seeing as they're pretty good at it, I do want to see more of that.
Yeah, honestly, same. You know, as casters, you definitely love to see the high level, uh, really action going on throughout the rounds. You know, those really impactful frags, those kind of unprecedented, unexpected kills that give it the oomph factor from a team. And oh my, as I say that,
As we
it's
see,
gonna
yeah.
be, yeah, it's gonna be Pulse picking up the kill on Bozak. That's gonna be Zofia down. Not the biggest frag he could have gotten, but still a pretty big one.
And the Valkyrie cameras, let's not underestimate the impact that they have on the round. You know, Valkyrie cam in and of itself will be nothing spectacular, but Elvis is always, and I do mean every single round, as far as I can tell, playing Valkyrie, his cameras appear to be rarely shut down, so he does appear to have, as I say this, however, he will we'll find the tip of his head, so that's going to be unfortunate for the player himself. However, yeah, his cameras appear to be quite stealthy, and they appear to be rarely shut down. So that's something that fans really got going for them.
Yeah, honestly, I can say to you, as you know, casters, that this doesn't really look very good in terms of Eh, well, actually, you know what? You know what? No, the proceedings kind of going around. There's lots of frags going around, so I won't make any predictions. No. I won't make any predictions before I'm proven wrong throughout the round. So I'll just go on with what's happening. We'll be seeing a potential flank attempt coming from Wolfsies. We know he's got the potential. We know he's got the idea, but unfortunately it wasn't carried out. Storms was watching that the whole entire time, and it was very quickly shut down. So with that being said, it's going to be a 2v2 situation, 1v2, Jolton grabbing the double kill. That was amazing game sense from him to know that that was going on. Max, the sole player left on Psychopaths, is going to be the Nomad. So unfortunate, he's going to be taking lots of damage, but he does have diffuser in hand, and he will be shut down by bow and arrow. It's gonna be our maestro.
Oh yeah, Maestro had a solid play here, and he was really good at distracting or keeping Nomad's attention off of Smoke. Sorry, who would have gotten the kill should Maestro have failed in that regard. You could see where he was. He was in a nifty little dead angle for the last remaining attacker here, which was quite interesting. Like, attempts at stealth is something you don't always see. These teams kind of swear by the aggressivity. That's how you usually will be able to surprise your opponents. We saw Smoke's double kill, and right after that, he had the game sense to just totally shift his approach. Jolton here just hiding immediately once his part was over, knowing that the timer was going to be running to a critically low number really shortly, and that's how we could see it. Max was technically pinched here. He did not bolt, or he did not panic, but at the end of the day, bow and arrow, we all know what that gun's capable of. You don't want to go against a Maestro when he's already holding the angle.
Right. I can, yeah, I've been up against that gun quite a few times, and let me tell you, it is a bitch to have to go against an 80 mag capacity LMG firing at you with very high, well, damage, to say the least. But yeah, so of course, Hans going over the round. Thank you for that. I wasn't able to pay attention to the first couple seconds of the round,
No
but
worries.
you analyzed so beautifully, as you always do. But uh, something quite interesting that I would have to point out. So now we are going to be put into our defense round. So role swap has happened, 2-4. Psychopaths obviously having the 2, fans having 4, and it is actually a really acute change of pace for each team. We are going to be seeing very different team compositions, very different team setups from
Indeed.
each team. Yeah, it's going to be Bandit, Maestro, Smoke, Legion, and Pulse. Bandit and Legion we have not seen quite yet, I don't believe. And along with that, IQ and Gridlock. We haven't seen those two either. Obviously, Nomad isn't going to be in play, but of course, she is going to be switched out with Gridlock. So we're going to
Yeah,
see
they do
how
serve a
different.
similar
Yeah,
role, don't they?
yeah. I can definitely agree with you. They both serve their own different roles, but a similar role at that. Yeah.
Just for the anecdote here, we do see fans playing the counter to their own playstyle, which Psychopaths never did. Going back to those stealthy Valkyrie cameras, Jolton will be in a good position to find them wherever they should be, should they exist in the first place, as Psychopaths are not even bringing a Valkyrie to the table. As I say this, Smoke failed to pick up Wolfsie's presence on the stairs here. However, he will be refragged by Storms, who will himself be refragged by Bow and Arrow. Really quickly, that's going to be refrag. 2 players down for Psychopaths. Fans only lost 1 player with just under, half of the round remaining. This is looking not too bad for fans' push here.
Yeah, definitely. They're pacing themselves out really well, and if they can get a hard breach opportunity for them within the next few seconds and potentially make a good execute. They'll have the round in the bag for themselves, but of course, we don't quite know what's going to go on yet. There might be unexpected happenings throughout the round, but yeah, it does look like a sturdy thermite attempt is going to be made if that bandit isn't going to be getting the nitro cell. Was it shot out?
He shot it himself because it stuck to the top of the wall.
Oh, okay, all right. I didn't see that, but of course, you are the watcher yourself, so you did see that. It is going to be impact trick, but failed at that. So, yep, Thermite is going to be taking a wall out for himself and another outlet into the objective. So that's going to be very vital for the attacking team's chances in getting an actual execute down and potential angles for kills. Yep, as I say that, my show is going to be going down to one of those pesky angles. And I believe it is actually going to be a refrag as well. So 2v3 situation. Attackers are at odds to win out this round, being that Bandit is one player and one player up himself. It is going to be Bandit grabbing another kill. It's going to be a double kill for him. Will he be able to get the third? That's going to be the question. He's moving
He
around. He
will!
will! He'll grab the kill. He's able to get the defuse. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Can the chat clip that? Can you guys clip this?
Oh my god.
That
I
that
did
was
not expect
unexpected.
that happened
Neither did I.
so quick. I did not expect that. That is so crazy.
But you know what? This is the unexpected factor of the situation. Really does make the clutches so intense and so impressive and so loved, to be honest.
Definitely.
Yeah. You seem to be focused. Do you have something on your mind?
Yeah, there's actually some bans going on in the chat. I believe it was a moderator.
Yeah,
I was just
Notorious
taking a
Pig.
look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah,
I was
that
just taking a
was
look at
quite a while ago, to be honest. And let's just look at the replays here. I'll just cut that short and we'll get back to that. Bow and arrow really did not expect to be pushed on the back. He seemed to be overly relying on the track stingers, which were just not tossed out far enough to be effective at their job at covering that flank. So there you go. Slight mistake on the attacker's part here. Psychopaths Gaming now winning a third round.
Yeah, third round.
So yeah, the bans that was quite a few rounds ago. Yeah, so mods took care of that. Thank you, mods. By the way, an anecdote more than anything else. There seem to be fans. Sounds redundant, I know. In the chat, who we're talking in French, fans are listed as being an American team, so do they speak French, or are they French-Canadian? Do they have French-Canadian supporters? I don't know exactly what was going on, but I found that to be quite unexpected. That's all. Going back to the game.
Yeah. It might actually have been Psychopaths gaming fans saying something different. I'm not quite sure.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, we'll
Maybe.
leave the conclusions for another time other than this scenario. But going into this round, so instead of Gridlock, it is going to be a Nomad being used by fans. It seems after licking their wounds, they're able to kind of see where their mistakes were, and they're really making an attempt to fix it at this point. Obviously, Gridlock not being in play anymore, they saw where she went wrong, and well, they're making the step to fix it, putting in Nomad.
Indeed, Nomad is going to be a bit more aggressive or a bit more obvious when the flank is being watched and when the flank watch gadget does its work. So Twist here, the defenders, Psychopaths, are obviously going for an extended hold. Twist will be getting the kill, but barely. There is still Bosak in the general area. Will he be able to revive his teammate? It does not look like it, as Wolfseas gets a nice little kill here. Bosak seems to be willing to pull back, and we really do see why. Without his teammate to watch his flank, he will be sorely exposed. Storm's clearly debating, do I want to shoot out that air jab? He does, and now he will be on his merry way to keep on flanking. That will work. He gets a first kill here on Elvis. Is there anybody else that could fall victim to his flanking? Wolfseas was in the general area, will be putting the push and the objective on hold to turn around. Storms, however, is no longer there. He's just causing fans to waste time and to chase ghosts.
Yeah, chasing ghosts at that, but he will be making his way back down to the first floor. Obviously, Nomad is going to be smart to this. She knows what's going on, and she's going to be watching her angles. Yeah, putting a Nomad trap down there, but the question is Storm's going to predict the Nomad trap being there again, or is he just going to run up the stairs blindly in an attempt to make a flank? We're going to have to see as the round plays out. But Maestro is going to be in a heated engagement. Storms, however, picking up a kill on Wolfsy. So he did play it smart, picking up that kill.
Potatoes!
Thermite able to push into the objective, however. He is going to be picking up lots of kills for his team's opportunities among that 2v2 situation at this point. Mazi coming up on the flank. He's going to pick up one. Will he be able to pick up the other? Diffuse is going to be prevented. Maestro picking up the final kill for his team. Defenders winning round 8 in a heated firefight.
That was, once again, more or less of a situation that was turned on its head, you know? The attackers were making good time. Diffuser was being planted, and at the very last second, the only other attacker that was covering Thermite got picked off, leaving Thermite exposed. He obviously could not finish the plant of the Diffuser, thus winning Psychopaths their 4th round. The scores are now tied once again. Psychopaths, they were trailing behind a teeny little bit, and by now they have caught on to fans. Maybe should the current, say, meta or the current situation keep on going, they could even get the advantage should they keep on rounds here. As you can see here, LGS hoping against all odds, and that just didn't work. Once again, Maestro's LMG is just a monster.
Yeah, we can definitely say that as we might make our disagreements in game or with strategy, but talking about Maestro's LMG, there's no debate of that. There's no debate. We can both agree with certainty that Maestro's LMG is hands down, if not one of the best guns in the entire game. I think my parsec froze, so I'm going to have to disconnect
Damn
and
it.
reconnect.
Alright, no worries. So, in the meantime, I will just talk about the composition. We have an absolute intel gathering slash denial setup here. As I said, the Storms with a Nitro Cell. Apparently, he ran out and went for the spawn kill to some extent. Buck will be killed very, very early on in the round. So look at that. We have Mozzie, we have Valkyrie, we have Pulse, all intel gathering gadgets. On the other side, we have Mute intel denial, and Twist, to some extent, well, you will have a hard time looking into the objective if you cannot destroy the barricade, thus making it a very unique composition. They're really hinging all of their bets on these two and only playstyles. So let's see if it works out for them. So far, well, Storms was able to get a kill, admittedly, not really because of his gadget, but hey, no matter how you win, if you win, that's all that matters. Are you back? Apparently not. So I will just enable screen share through Discord. Oh, or did Discord even freeze? I hope Discord didn't freeze. With that being said, there, I hope you go. Apparently not. Let me know if you have any problems. I will just keep on going solo. In the meantime, Jolton here making some progress. However, the progress being made is not really going towards the objective itself. It's only going towards clearing the space above the objective, which in and of itself is proving quite costly to both teams. It's only a 2v2 situation now, and the push on, say, the floor of the objective itself has not even begun. LSG here will be going in for the kill against Storms. They seem to know where he is exactly, but the line of sight will just not be created, and thus the kill will just not happen. Wolfsy's still going for the verticality, knowing that there's a last roamer up top that indicates that Max will be the last operator, or the only operator actually, on the objective itself, should the attackers be able to well, work off of that intel. They could find themselves into 2v1 situation, but as I say this, Storm's flanker was an absolute beauty. LSG, now he will be in a bit of a pickle. He knew the hatch above him was going to be dangerous, but he could not just sit there idly, and he knew Storms was not going to peek without a good reason to do so, leaving him in an unwinnable situation. Oh, okay, and now you're back?
Yes.
All right. I have enabled Discord screen share, assuming it was maybe or making the assumption that it was Parsec's crash rather than the local system.
It
So
was actually not. Yeah, it was my whole entire system that crashed on me.
unfortunate. So right
That
now
is
you're back in the
correct.
call. You have the screen share, I assume, through Discord.
Yes. Actually, I need to set that because that is going to run on my
All right. Well, I'll let you figure that out on your end. The good news is, on the a short term, I think the issues have been resolved. So we will take that as good news.
Perfect.
The other piece of bad news that I have towards myself would be the fact that I believe the last transition here towards the replays failed to show. So right now, I believe I have fixed this. So we will be looking at round 10, which will be in aviation. And just going back on something we said during the previous round, or 2 rounds ago at this point, that the chat commented upon. So LSG would be a French Canadian player, which is why we do have French Canadians cheering on the American team. So there you go. That would be the explanation towards that. As I say, this fans are spawning in and are going to be beginning their approach towards the building itself. LSG will be going for the top push immediately. However, should Storms not be drowned out, he will be in a nice, nifty little dead angle and could be quite dangerous should the drones fail to pick up on his presence. However, he will be drowned out pretty quickly, and as such, he will be pushing back or pulling back slowly but surely, eventually making his way back to the objective. So for the time being, he is out of harm's way, and Bosak will be the new first line of defense for Psychopaths Gaming. He's holding both the bottom of the main stairs, and obviously he can peek quite easily into study. Storm's apparently taking some damage through the floor. That's going to be Jolton using the electronics detector to find to fire a few shots at Storms without really dealing lots of damage. Storms has had enough. He will be jumping down, but fails to get the kill, as we had Wolfsies here with the cross angle, barely saving Jolton's life.
Oh my gosh, I wasn't even paying attention to the round, but that was amazing. So, Psychopaths Gaming is going to be down a player, Amazi, at that. Unfortunate. Another Intel operator is going to be going down for Psychopaths Gaming Maestro this time around. So, 2 Intel operators. That is unfortunate. Well, a silver lining, I guess, if you may, kind of to get back into this, would be that these Intel operators can now, in turn, create Intel opportunities for
Bosak?
their team.
Bosak? He's droning right there. What you doing? Oh my god. Free kill miss right here. Bosak, this is embarrassing. He will be pushed from the bottom of the stairs. He still did not see him. What is happening? Okay, I'm sorry I cut you off there. I will let
Oh
you get back into
no.
that.
Oh no. And he's gonna get pushed
Oh
and he's gonna get
no!
killed. No! Oh my gosh, he's gonna get refragged out. That is a speechless.
Same here. Same here. Attackers apparently found their way into the objective, leaving us with Twist. And in a 1v3 situation, he will not be able to prevent the plant of the diffuser. He gets a nifty kill here, however. So it was temporarily a 1v1 situation as long as the diffuser was planted. But Bow and Arrow was able to provide accurate covering fire, thus winning his team the round.
That was a flop. I'm sorry.
It was.
Oh man. I don't know what went wrong there. There must have been a intel deficiency or a miscommunication, something going on, but wow, that was so unfortunate. The thing is that Bozak, he was in a position to really make waves throughout the round, right? He had the crossroads of 2 different ways that the attackers are pushing. Of course, yes, he did receive a lot of pressure, overwhelmingly amounts of pressure from the attack, but if he was able to work off the intel that he had and use the senses in his right mind, he probably could have gotten a lot more collateral from the attack and made a bigger impact on the round than he did. But unfortunate as that is, it is the round proceeding and it is what we're going to have to deal with. So, kind of talking about the attack, however, they actually really amazingly split up the pressure that they put to the objective, right? They had pressure coming from study along with first floor, so they kind of really convened at the main stairs, which is why, of course, Bozak received so much pressure, considering that, of course, the verticality was in play from bottom floor along with the heart breaching efforts coming from the top floor. So not only did they have two objectives in mind, they were able to successfully act on both of those and get and execute in the objective and win out the round.
So, with all that being said, it is also quite surprising to me. You talked about the miscommunication or lack of intel. Look at how many intel gathering operators we have. I believe we
And
had,
that's the irony.
yeah, exactly. We had Pulse, we had Maestro, we had Motzi. I mean, there's only Valkyrie missing, and you're like loaded as much as you can be, which is really, really unfortunate for psychopaths here. But with that being said, round 11, we're looking at a pretty possible overtime situation here. The scoreline being 5-5. Should either team win one more point in the two upcoming rounds, we will be kicked into OT. But until we're there, we still have that first round to play. Dokkaebi will be making her first appearance here. Let's see how fans will be playing her. Obviously, this will be in the hopes of gathering a bit more intel, maybe even using IQ to figure out where the defenders are and maybe get a few wall bangs while they're shutting down their phones. But first and foremost, Bow and Arrow has to remain alive, which he will sadly miss out on and fail. There's no Claymore, so Smute could easily run out. Have they realized, though, that he's down? Apparently not. Bosak is really just holding the angle.
Might actually jump out on the Doke. He's kind of being a little bit hesitant about it. With all respect towards that, of course, there could be a baiting situation going on. You never really know. I think they really know that Bozak is down. They're just not taking the opportunity out of potential hesitation, potential fear that they might actually get refragged. Who knows? But of course, the Doke is not going to be claimed, and for that, she does have the opportunity to get up. Yep, as I say that, she will get up, but with a very highly decreased amount of health, and that is, in the end, it's going to hinder her a lot in terms
Yeah.
of actual fragging opportunity. Yeah. So she is going to have to be playing a little bit more passively. But going on the Bucks end, if you will, he will actually get fragged out. As I say that coming from a verticality situation, but refrags going on from IQ. That is going to be for the Mozzie. So talking about impact frags, that's a 1-for-1. 2-for-1. However, with the Bandit now being taken away from the round, this does look like a really good opportunity for the attack to take advantage of if Thermite can open up the wall here. But Legion getting down now, that is the only way stopping Thermite from getting into the objective. That wall is going to be open up, and with Legion still down, the attackers have ways into the objective that are completely unprecedented if they do so wish to get in.
Yeah, so now with Mute, being down, Max is gonna find himself in a 1v4 situation. Surprisingly, the diffuser was not planted, and he is able to prevent that. The timer is gonna be running out! What happened here? The attackers have every advantage in the world! I mean, we have so many unexpected comebacks and flip-flops here. This is really an odd game, to say the least.
I almost had to do a spit take on that. That was...
Wow.
I'm sorry. That was absolutely amazing coming from the Maestro. Of course, we know that he has the ACOG. We know that he has the LMG, right? Those are two favors working in his way, but the fact that he was not only able to like flip around, do some 180 crazy tricks with himself. I mean, just look at that, right? He knew exactly where the attackers were coming in from. That was game sense, that was intel being fed to him. That is called team chemistry from the point of one player. That is absolutely amazing. Great execute. We have 68 viewers. We just jumped.
Yes,
That's amazing
Razor
too.
just hosted us. So thank you, Razor, for the 43 viewers. Welcome everybody on the channel.
Hello.
However, I believe you won't be here for too long as the match is coming to an end. Psychopaths Gaming here are in a match point situation, so it's now or never for the fans team. The
Yep.
defense will be, however, in the kitchen, which is obviously a tertiary site, not as easy to defend, and thus that would be well one factor in fans' advantage should they hope for an overtime situation. The intel gathering operators are still really prevalent, is that an English word, or
Yep.
really at the center of the composition here, and the remaining operators would be intel denial operators, Bosak with mute obviously, and Twist. Well, it's gonna be really hard to destroy a mute if it's right behind a castle barricade, or even should you not be in a position to destroy the castle barricade, it's going to be hard to see what's on the other side of that doorway, won't it? So it's going to be quite interesting to see how how much knowledge is power, or to put it the other way around, how much that saying is going to hold true. Max will be immediately going for the first kill, but as I say this, wow, how many kills are happening? Okay.
Yeah, it's a flurry of kills as a 3v4 situation comes out to this round with both actually FBI operators being taken off the board. That's going to be Castle and Pulse. Unfortunately, the UMP was not strong enough to defeat the wrath of fans, but with Buck and now Zofia being collateral in the round, we can say that those are pretty evened out impact frags, with Buck being a little bit more important than the two other operators, of course, with his, well, really Buck and Zofia. They kind of have similar uses in terms of utility, but
Indeed.
kind of, yeah, subsiding off of that. So 3v3 situation, okay, both Intel operators are up, which is a good sign for Psychopaths Gaming, right? We also do have a hard breach operator up, so that's another opportunity for the attack to get their hands on the objective. Along with that, Intel gathering operators, i.e. Doke, IQ, if you do so say, but Mute coming up on the flank. Unfortunate, he does get shut down, so this is going to put us into a 2v3 situation. Again, Psychopaths backs are against the wall. Of course, they do have a round to play with here, so in terms, of the match point situation, but of course, they are going to want to close off the round as quick as possible. So, being that it is a 2v3 situation, they're not going to want to put themselves in this position much longer. But with about 50 seconds left on the clock, it doesn't really give them much of an opportunity to do much else other than sit in the objective.
And as you say this, Thermite's going to be opening up that wall, so the pressure will be coming from another angle, and the fire superiority is going to be fatal to Kendama, leaving us with Max in a 1v3 situation. And no, fans will not be letting that round slip out of their grasp. We are now officially in an overtime situation, thanks to LSG and his wonderful kill.
Yeah, I think we can definitely summarize the fact that the two impact frags at the beginning of the round, being Castle and Pulse, were just too good for the fans to let that go throughout the round, right? To let that stagnate and let that be not as much of a determining factor as you really can imagine. They used that to their advantage a lot, right? They were able to quickly take control of as much of the map as they could, right? The top floor, a little bit of the bottom floor. They definitely laid their hands on quite a lot of area in the well, map itself. Of course, they weren't able to completely hold top floor, but yeah, they did take a lot of land from bottom floor, and an interesting push at that, right? They normally you would go for the verticality of it being top floor, take away the roamers, and get as many angles in the objective as you can, but with this push, rather, it was the attackers going from bottom floor up. So it really gave the defenders a lot of opportunities to make flanks on them, right? We saw the mute coming in, but the attackers were ready for it, right? They expected it. So it kind of gave them that surprise factor of, it's not something you necessarily pull out, but in the end, it came to their advantage because they got to play a little bit closer with each other. They got to watch their angles, and they got to play very, how do I put it? They just really got to play eyes open, kind of alert in a way.
That would be a very accurate description. You talked about the verticality and everything. I was quite surprised by that as well. They really seem to be content on walking up the stairs, whereas taking control of the top floor could have been really important for them. Storms here will be using the opening created by fans themselves to his advantage to remain stealthy. He will not be getting any kills though, but the attempt definitely was there. Max will be getting the brunt of the assault here. He will be drawn down. That drone will be shut down pretty quickly, but not before it's able to get the intel on his position, and he appears to be juggling between two different, possible entryways he has to defend, which will be putting him at a quite difficult, in a quite difficult situation here. Wolfseas holding the angle as Thermite is opening up that wall, or rather was going to try to open up that wall. The Impact Matrix failed to pick that up. Surprisingly enough, the reinforced wall will be destroyed within a minute of regulation time. This is quite swift and quite an efficient push on fans' side, especially considering we're now in a 3v5 situation. That round really does look good for them.
Yeah, and of course, it really does seem like Psychopath is having a problem with holding down this tertiary site, right? I'm not quite sure the actual statistics on it, but it does seem like they're having a problem with the verticality actually being able to hold the top floor. Yeah, we knew that round was going to be. I just kind of went analyst mode. We knew that round was going to be
We
over.
did.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a win for fans, being a 1v4 situation. Definitely did not expect the comeback. But yeah, kind of going back into the analyst corner of things, we definitely have been seeing the defenders having a really hard time with holding this tertiary site. Tertiary site. Why? Being that, whether it's the verticality being held against them, whether it's the unprecedented outlets into the objective, whether it's the million things that stack up against the defenders in this objective, it just becomes unbearable for them to have to defend against, right? It's like if you don't expect it coming from this area, well, you're definitely not going to expect it coming from this area. So that's where the attackers normally exploit. It's almost like them coming back and doing something you wouldn't really expect every time. It's that factor, it's that surprise, it's that, everything I've been talking about that the attackers have been doing oh so beautifully that have been getting them the win.
Shifting gears a little, do you know or do you have an idea why Psychopaths decided to go into Kitchen, as we had been Aviation statues and then Kitchen, and then on overtime they go Kitchen again, the tertiary site, which is, well, notoriously difficult to hold. On the contrary, fans here are going Aviation, which is, statistically speaking, going to be way easier for them to hold, or they will have a higher statistical chance of winning the round, and they're now in a match point situation. So Psychopaths Gaming, well, the pressure is mounting on them.
Yeah, honestly, I really couldn't tell you what's going through their minds right now. I mean, we can make assumptions, we can make any type of, whatever you want to call it, right? We can make, was he glitched? Did you see that?
I did not notice that, no.
Did you see the Nomad was glitched this there? Sorry, getting back to the conversation. I have like crazy ADHD. Anyways, yeah, no. We can make any assumption about what's going through their minds right now, but I feel like it was either really keeping with the trend of Kitchen, attempting to go back there saying, "Oh, we could have had that, this and that. We can improve on that," or it was they wanted to surprise the attackers. I can only imagine it being those two different scenarios being played out. I can't imagine anything else. But yeah, getting back into the round, a quick explanation to that. We're going to be seeing Jaeger once again holding on red stairs, the one and only spot that he definitely loves to stay on every time. He's had an amazing success rate with being able to hold on those stairs. He's at least had a 2.0 KD, great frag value with that hold itself. So hopefully he'll be able to, get out some frags for his team this time around without actually being contested.
And you know, the interesting thing is his position by now will be known, be it only by because of the fact that the advantage of surprise will be lost. He's been doing this for the past few rounds, and it is expected at that point. But the defenders are playing, well, quite nicely together. There's LSG here holding the bottom of the stairs, Elvis as well, and he will be in a nice little safe zone for himself to be healing his teammates, and Wolfseas will not be losing control of red stairs. Quite interesting. I don't think I've seen that hold being played too often, as he technically has very little cover. Bosak getting the kill once again. He's always the one that will dislodge Wolfseas from there. But as we could see, we did have a few roamers slash players holding the bottom floor. So on the objective itself, it is going to be a pretty light hold, and both smoke and bow and arrow were on the cameras. The objective was, technically speaking, open for a few seconds there. That might have been a grave mistake should Psychopaths Gaming have picked up on that and acted upon it. However, we will now be seeing a 3-2 situation. PKP have to push in pretty quickly now with only 27 seconds remaining. Will they be able to do so? I don't really see their positioning as being indicative of them working together, so it's more or less going to be two separate and independent pushes coming into the objective.
Yeah, now don't be fooled, of course, because two separate and independent pushes can definitely equate to
Pushes, my
team
bad.
chemistry, but we also can see the fact that, they're staying apart, but together, really in the same sense. Of course, Twist is going to be picking up a triple kill for himself. That's going to be on Jolton, but a plant is going to be down. The activated fuser are going to be found by Maestro, the one sitting on the cams. He is going to be holding that 80 mag LMG, so we're going to have to see how this round holds out. He does still have a significant chance at winning this out, albeit he is able to win out the engagements between him. It is going to be a 1v1 situation. He picks up one. This tells everything for this round. He's going to attempt to make out the counter defuse, but Psychopath's picking up the kill on a bow and arrow. Twist grabbing the 4K for his team. That was almost an ace, but I just lost one at that. Thermite, the MVP of that round. Wow.
Yeah, he was not going to let this happen. Definitely not.
Yeah, and of course, yeah, he was able to get back to the objective with a good time on the Maestro. I feel like the Maestro kind of just made a last-ditch effort at that point, but with a 7-7 scoreline. Wow, that was amazing. So, kind of looking back at the round in review, there was actually a lot of flank attempts made by the defense. So, of course, it came from red stairs. We obviously saw it from the main south stairs, if you want to call it that. There's a couple different names for it, but
Yeah.
regardless, we'll use compass terms. South stairs, and it really just came from, vertical ways, horizontal ways, really any ways you can see it. What I mean to say is the fact that the defenders were playing very aggressive, right? Doc and Jaeger playing in just really kind of synthesizing together to make a full-formed roam. Of course, Jaeger, again, making his presence known on the round, not so much as, other rounds, obviously being that the attackers, of course, knew where he was. He's kind of starting to weed himself out in a predictable position, if you will. But, of course, with the new round, he can't necessarily play out that position, being that he's on attack now. So, yeah, with the last round in play, what are your predictions for this one while we're in the first 30 seconds?
So we do have this extended hold that Psychopaths, I believe, no, it was fans that attempted to do that. You see how many resources or how much utility is going to be poured into defending the aviation area. Storms on the first floor right underneath. This could be quite interesting, as fans might not expect that much resistance if they want to come in through study. However, Storms with the, not exactly run out, but he will be peeking outside, getting a nice little kill. Wolfsy's taking a lot of damage. However, should fans avoid going study and go, well, master bedroom, as LSG appears to be doing, they would be essentially short-circuiting all of that utility that's on the other side of the map. So really, it's going to come down on fans' push and on their tactical choices, let alone the kills themselves once the firefights will be engaged. But yeah, should they be able to circumvent all of that utility, they could have a nice shot at the round.
I can definitely agree with you on that being a pretty broad statement, of course. But 5-3 situation with about 150 left on the clock. This time it's going to be LSG at the hands of Maestro. Now Zofia taking a very aggressive push on to the objective. Of course, she's holding those angles, and with health lost from her side, 4v3 situation. Wolfsy's going to pick up 1 kill, but the refrag is going to happen 4v2. Now, with pressure mounting towards fans, they only have 2 players left on the board. They don't have much to work with. Of course, they don't have the diffuser in hands. So they don't really have many cards really to hold at this point. Of course, they're going to have to play a little bit more aggressive if they actually want to pick up kills, if they want to understand at least where the defense is and all. They're obviously they have a potential to make and execute with a good time and work off of intel itself. But of course, with about 50 seconds left on the clock, it's going to go by pretty fast. So, yeah, the attackers are going to have to inch up their way through the objective. Now, 4v1 situation, Wolf's going to pick up 3v1. He does have very, very low health, and with Bandit eyeing him, it looks like he might be lost at this point. We'll have to see.
So you're talking about how fans don't have too much going for them. The one thing that they definitely did have was time, and using it to its full potential is showing the results that we currently have. We're effectively in a 2v1 situation. Wolfsy's now definitely putting us to a 2v1 situation. He will step foot on the goo mine, and victory by goo mine. That is unfortunate.
Oh,
3 goo mines in a row.
It's gonna be Wolfsy's getting taken down by the goo mine. He was really an MVP. I would have to say he's probably one of the best players in that game itself. I mean, of course, unfortunately, the rest of his team wasn't able to do the groundwork that was needed to, well, needed to win the round, to say the least, but he really did a number on the attackers and really defenders, depending on which side you're talking about. But yeah, I'd have to say he was an amazing player throughout that round, throughout the game.
So all in all, I am very satisfied with our first game.
Definitely.
First cast. Yeah. I believe the game itself was really nice. I believe we ourselves did a pretty good job, don't you think?
Yeah.
So all in all, I'm quite satisfied. So let's jump back into that perspective. Psychopaths Gaming being the official winners here. The next match is set to start in about 10 minutes, so I don't think we will be going into a be right back screen. It's not going to be worth it for 10 minutes. So, do you want to talk about those replays or that game? What exactly? Or you are the analyst, right? So, do you want to take a shot at that game?
There's a lot of back and forth. That's one way to put it. It was a lot of back and forth, right? They kept on going at it, chipping away at each other. It was really which team could pull out the most effective use of utility, right? Strategy, kind of mapping their way through the map in a way that the other team wouldn't expect them to go, right? In the fact that the two teams were able to adapt to each other so well. I mean, it's a feat. Right? It's an amazing thing that we saw. I of course, it's not the highest level of play, but it's still a very high level play. I personally was satisfied with every single round of that game. Maybe contrary to 1 or 2, because of course they were a little bit one-sided, but for the most part, these teams going at it, they were very evened out. Of course, right at the end, the last round really came down to which side it was, the objective, the opportunities that came down, but it's that kind of riffraff going back and forth. It's just an endless scrim of these two teams. Of course, they were able to put it into match point. They were able to put it into overtime, which absolutely wild, absolutely insane for them to do that, but I don't really have too much else to say on that. I did make very good notes. And
No
yeah, you
worries.
guys, yeah,
You guys
one
saw the
other
game.
thing, yeah, one other thing to note is the fact that this is our first game
Indeed.
back from, yeah,
Well,
from the
ha-
break that we had.
well, hey, by the way, Happy New Year. we
Yeah,
have
happy.
it's our first cast of 2020. So I personally, especially, I personally think that we did a good job, especially considering that we were quite rusty coming into that game. So yeah, the one thing I want to talk about is I think it was Bosak's absolute fail, who was sitting on south stairs and did not pick up on Thermite droning. Thermite himself also made the grave mistake of droning in the presence of an enemy, but he himself did not commit as big of a sin as the guy that didn't get the free kill.
Yeah, I think it was Bozak. I'm not
I
sure. You
think it
know,
was
I'm not gonna
Bosak.
name
Yeah, I think
names.
it
I'm
was.
not gonna name names. All we know is that it was Smoke sitting on South Stairs. That's all we know. That's all. That's all the information that we're gonna give right now. But it was a flop from him. It was a gross miscommunication. It was a delay maybe in time. Well, we can say the most amount of excuses that we can give. But the fact that we weren't even in their shoes, so we can't really say anything,
Yeah,
to be
indeed.
fair. Yeah, so regardless, I mean, it was a good attempt from both teams. Of course, the attack in that round ended up being victorious by really a long shot, but yeah, I'm not gonna go too hard on each team because they gave it their best. They gave it their
Oh,
best
they
shot,
did.
and the fact that they actually did get up to 7-7 was great. Was absolutely amazing. But yeah, I say that's pretty good for our first cast. It's been 3 weeks, I believe. So yeah, I
Yeah.
wow.
Here's the thing. Here's a thing. Um, why are people saying ban, ban, report, report, ban in the chats? I am not sure if they're referring to a player doing something illegal or
No,
if,
no, 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 no. They're probably just
yes, somebody was
they're
being
probably
like,
just trolling.
uh, a fucking LSK. Hypers, I might have to temp ban you for that. Cause yeah, just adding a letter to prevent. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so the one thing I wanted to get into, Saris says keep casting psychopaths except if they don't want to. I was exactly getting to that point. So considering we have a 4.5 minutes delay, we can cast just about any game that's not already picked by another caster. So whoever you want us to cast, we could cast them. So you yourself, Giraffe, did you want to cast a game or a team in particular, or were we just going off what the chat wants?
Well, you know me. You know what we were talking about at the beginning of our match that we were gonna do. We were talking before this, saying that I actually wanted to cast either PogChamp or Okami, I believe. Yeah, because we had already cast them before in the invitational qualifiers, so we kind of have a rough idea of how they actually play as a team, kind of how they work, and just perspectives in that way. You know, the psychology of it, what they're kind of thinking, what moves they're gonna make. If you wanted to get so deep as to say that, but yeah. So just simple way to put it, we know them.
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, we do have quite a lot of uh people saying that.
they'd want us to keep on casting that
Yeah,
team. So I
I'm
mean,
not sure. I'm not sure.
either way, I'm always open to just about anything, because to us it makes no difference. Like the only difference between casting the one or the other team is just going to be the names that we're going to be reading when talking about the kills, the flanks, or what would you. So here's the big question: would the chat's preference override our own or your preference in that case? Because once again, I don't really care too much.
I think the mod are vegan. They don't like chicken. What the
Uh,
hell? What the? Oh, thanks for casting us. No problem.
well, you're welcome, Twist. Twist was in Psychopaths. Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
Psychopaths. So GG for the victory, by the way. That was
Uh,
nice.
wow, 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 wow. You know what? Goddess was just streaming, but
Um,
she doesn't seem to be streaming anymore. What the heck?
So to be honest, it is also going to depend on what games the other casters are going to be playing. So off of the teams that you had, let's just take a look at that real quick, okay? You have mentioned a few names, so obviously we can only cast one if we're lucky, two of them at the same time. The question would be the desired teams, are they still in? Are they on a bye this round? Should we have an uneven number of teams in the game? And all that good stuff. You talked about Okami. They are currently 3-1, so they will still be playing. You said XG 2.0 maybe? Uh, there's still going to be
Yeah.
PogChamp as well.
Um.
Psychopaths obviously are still there if you want to keep on going. Did I miss any? I feel like I've missed one or two.
Um. Yeah, you probably did, but it doesn't really matter. I can look at it. Um.
Okami are going to be there again, so yeah,
I'm
we could do Okami, I
I
guess.
am trying very viciously to find really quickly. Ooh,
Oh, okay. I was mistakenly thinking Okami were Katsu. So I realized or I picked up on Noski's absence. I thought the roster had changed, but it's just a different team. Katsu, are they playing by the way? Like they're also a good team. They are definitely
oh
worthy
yeah.
of CL in my humble opinion. But I don't see them in that. I'm disappointed to see Honor Esports going as they're also fellow French Canadians.
Trefro goat. Thank you, BB.
Well, people appear to be liking you. So yeah, you know what we'll do? Flood the. No, it's too late to do that with the delay. Or I could actually just put it, type it in the chat myself. Um, should I ask the chat who they want us to cast, or do we take the decision on our own?
Uh, wait a minute. Katsu 3. There's a Katsu 2?
There's a Katsu too. What?
Oh, wait a minute. Habibi, Holiday, Makarov, Oasis, Rich. Okay, yeah, that's Nog.
How?
It's Nog. Uh, Makarov,
Yeah,
Oasis, yeah.
Nog is missing. Yeah, so Oasis would be the new recruit. Want to cast
They
them?
must have. They must have.
Once again, up to us slash you guys, but given the current delay, it's too late for you
Yeah,
guys to now
we're just
weigh
kind
in
of
on
bouncing
that.
ideas off of each other very
Yeah.
casually.
So to be honest, it's going to depend on who the other casters will want to cast, because we're obviously going for the for the highly known name at this point, and the other casters will also want to cast the teams with the most clout. So,
And that's
yeah,
untrue.
not really. Oh,
I said that's untrue.
sorry. I always believe untrue is like not true, as on.
It's basically
Yeah,
an American thing, I guess.
yeah. So sorry. Yeah, my bad. I am still not the best in English, but I will get there. So yeah, at this point, really, the round five should be ready just about any moment. And as I say this, I only had to refresh the page, and it is ready. Powerhouse. That name rings a bell,
We never
isn't it?
casted them on
No, no,
Jaw.
no. But isn't it? Isn't it?
On Jaw.
Is it not Entero's team or Entero's org?
Oh. 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 I thought you were gonna be like, we casted them before. I was like, huh?
No, 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 no. I'm not.
Wait a minute,
I'm not yet
Powerhouse?
senile. Yeah, if you look at it, okay, so
Senile.
uh,
Powerhouse
just
where?
bear with me. If you go into Intero, okay, you go on his Twitch and you look at his team. If I'm not senile, once again, um, Powerhouse Gaming right here. Just take a look at the screen share. Does that logo ring a bell? Considering I've just been on that team's profile page. So yeah, if we want to go off of that, so just bouncing ideas once again. Um,
I can't find our house.
don't worry, I'm
How do you spell
pretty
it? How do you
sure.
spell it?
I will just copy and paste it to your DMs.
Slaughterhouse?
Not like that. With that being
Salty,
said,
salty
also,
platoon. They won
um,
too.
with that being said, I would
Run it
also
back.
like.
Big fans. PogChamp? PogChamp. Give me a little
Yeah, the
PogChamp.
question was going to be who are the other casters casting as well. Grand Gaming expected, Bad Company. Okay, so Bad Company is going to be taken. However, everything else still is up for grabs. So yeah, it's whoever you want.
I do like Chala and Jarvis.
That's not Okami. Who? Which team is that?
PogChamp. And
Bogchamp.
Ghost Drip tripping out. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I feel like I
All right,
definitely
let's go for these
did
two.
not. Wasted potential. I have no clue what that
So
means.
taking Pogchamps right now. Confirm. Do we want to go for
I
Pogchamps?
don't know. I don't know.
Freak. Let's just do it. All right, taking Pogchamps.
We're taking Pog. Aw, we could have stayed with PKP.
Well, you kind of were
I
insisting on PogChamps,
yeah.
but just bouncing ideas, but you were a bit more insistent on
Oh,
that one.
wasted potential at the team. Dumbass. I'm a
Okay, not at us, you mean? Okay, you thought it was aimed at us. Okay, I see.
I thought it was a
All right. My notebook's almost full. I'm now to the point where I'm like counting pages left. Okay, maybe not that full. So, bread baggers against PogChamps. But I also like to bounce
PogChamp.
off of different teams as we're going to be seeing different play styles every time. And that to me is interesting in and of itself because at some point you kind of know what the teams are going to be doing, you know what to expect. And just being surprised every once in a while does have its charm, in my opinion. It's PogChamp singular though. Is it a different team maybe? Or am I
No,
just
it's the same
being
thing.
paranoid? Yes, okay, it's the
No,
same team.
it's the same thing.
All right, fair enough. So at this
There,
point,
Lino.
let's just wait for their friend requests. That's number one. And number two, let's take a look at the map. Which map will we be playing? Villa again. Okay. So, hope you are ready for another round of Villa, because that's coming up right after, well, we've invited the teams. So, yeah, Villa, do you want to talk about that?
Um,
You don't seem to be too interested into going into that.
no, I don't. Okay, here's my thing about Villa.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like I don't like talking about it because I'll be completely transparent. I'm not the best at um analyzing Villa. I'm not. I feel like I'm one of the worst people qualified to analyze Villa because there's just so many parts about it. There's so many like different things you could talk about cuz the different rooms in it, the different like I don't know. I just haven't gotten around to like strategizing about it, like thinking about it in a high level competitive way. But I'll talk about it really quickly, while we're I will entertain you guys with my sick rambling. So Villa as a map. Villa, again, it's an interesting map. It's a lot of long angles being held, which means that you're going to want to put lots of emphasis on flank operators or, well, flank watch operators, such as ones with high emphasis on intel or um, plant denial, like uh, well, we can look at Maestro, Nomad, Gridlock, those type of operators. It really goes both ways when you talk about it. Like in terms of defense, when you talk about long angles, you're going to want lots of intel. In terms of offense, when you talk about long angles, you're going to want lots of flank denial, right? Especially coming up those stairs, the verticality opportunities, all of that. And you're going to want lots of sturdy roamers. You're going to want lots of capabilities in terms of sitting on top floor or bottom floor, be it the objective position. Um, those roamers are going to be very impactful in terms of what you can get done in a round, right? They're going to be the driving force behind the defense. So the roamers can really make or break the round. They can either waste lots of time for the attack and get a few frags, like we saw Wolfsies did in the Red Stairs hold. They can basically get killed off at the beginning of the round, like we saw one time that Pulse did, and they can either work in the favor of the attack or the defense, okay? But it is going to be the defenders, the roamers specifically, that will give you that high impact gameplay that is the action packed, type of engagements that we do love to see. Along with that, hard breaching opportunities, I haven't really talked about much in terms of that. We saw lots of emphasis from hard breaching, of course. It's from master bedroom, it's from study, it's basically anywhere where you can get your hands on a thermite charge and or a bana and blow up a reinforcement, get an extra angle into the objective. A little bit goes a long way in terms of getting more intel and more area control of the map as much as you possibly can. But other than that,
I think that's gonna wrap it up because
yeah.
you've been going for long enough. You must be getting quite winded at this point, and I believe at some point you've said everything there is to say.
Yeah, just
Getting
about.
into the teams, so we haven't casted bread baggers before, and I just realized in game they're gonna be Team Orange. So let me just swap it over in the overlay. Thank you very much, myself. But in the meantime, we have, however, casted PogChamps before. Do you actually remember their playstyle? And if so, do you want to comment on that slash do a bit of an analysis on their in-game capabilities?
Okay, so
Oh,
I
am
am
I?
going to.
Yeah, I
What?
mean, Sarah said I have to host in the EUS. You know how. Blah. Somebody in the chat pointed out what I believe was a mistake. Said the host region has to be in CUS. I just made sure we are in CUS. Thanks for pointing that out, but we did not make a mistake. A rehost or resetting the lobby is not going to be needed. So yes, back to you.
Um, I don't have current notes on too much notes on this. Um,
Well, in that case, let's just
let's.
jump into the game.
Yeah, are you actually in the game?
Yes.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, so
Well, shoot.
Operator's Ban is starting as we speak. Red baggers, or defenders, are going to be banning a first attacker. The picks, the usual. Jackal would be quite expected, considering, well, it's a roam heavy map, or the map has quite a fair bit of room potential. But they will be deciding against that, and they'll be going with Maverick instead. Do you want to talk about Maverick? Why would they ban him on Villa of all maps?
Well, if we look at Villa as a map, I kind of went over it very briefly. There is a lot of opportunities for actual hard breaching on Villa, right? There's lots of areas where you want to reinforce, lots of spots where you want to get those tiny little, minuscule angles to counter the defense, to get uh, any and all control of the objective without actually having to walk into the objective and take those head-on firefights. So by using Maverick, you are able to do just that, right? You're able to get those little tiny pinpoint angles, those really pesky angles, uh, and you are able to exploit the defenders in the best way possible, right? Without having to do too much collateral damage to yourself, given obviously you know how to play Maverick right. Um, and by banning him, it really just takes away that opportunity.
I will be totally paranoid here. I'm still receiving comments about how we're supposed to be hosting on CUS and not EOS, which would be my home region and thus the default when I'm creating a lobby. CUS written right here. I'm not, once again, senile. This is the right region, isn't it?
Yes.
So I just had to calm those internal anguishes of mine. And there we go. Everything is in order. We do have a Goyo. I will not repeat the same mistake I did last time. Goyo, quite a nifty operator that can easily be turned around and used against the defenders should he be poorly placed or used. With that being said, back to you.
All right. Well, yeah. So of course, Goyo being put into play once again, this time by Bread Baggers. So the two other operator bands are going to be Echo and Mira. Okay, yeah, we don't really need to go into much of an explanation on Echo and Mira. We obviously know the pretty, the
Yeah,
weighty
we know
use
the ins
of
and outs of
each.
that
Yeah,
meta.
of course. Yeah, it was just my parsec that wasn't working, so I wasn't able to look at the quick
I
bands
believe
for
I
that.
still have the screen share through Discord, so should that fail, you always have a backup,
Yeah,
which is
yeah, yeah.
always running.
I'm taking a
All
look
right,
at that. All right.
great.
Well, something interesting. However, this time around, coming from Pog Champ, it's gonna be Ash the first round being
Indeed.
used. So why do you think Ash, out of
Um,
all operators, is going to be used the first round?
Well, interestingly enough, first of all, a blind heads down rush is just not gonna work at that level of play. I think we all agree on that. She is gonna be discovered, identified, and the defenders will just act accordingly. So obviously, Ash is not really a intricate operator, to put it that way. It's quite blunt. You're playing off of kills when you're playing Ash. So let's see if she is going to be able to do that. Tito's will be totally flashed. That Vulcan shield will be destroyed. Tito's back on OBJ, and that's already the first line of defense that has not exactly been destroyed, but still cleared and pushed back. Apparently, we didn't want to use a breaching charge for that, but the Evil Eye itself has been destroyed, and all in all, PogChamps are doing good time. We are already up to the objectives wall, so Thermite could hypothetically open it up. However, we have seen, just to make extra sure that it's obvious, the floor has been totally destroyed, so the roamers at the first floor can deal a great lot of damage through the first floor. So that's going to be interesting if the roaming capabilities are not neutralized. The PogChamps team could face a dire consequence and an unwelcome surprise here.
Definitely. So 4v5 situation again. Breadbaggers one in the hole, with Legion being taken down, a vital trap operator to them. And now, with a hard breaching effort being made, unfortunately, Thermite was not able to capitalize on the kill in Vault, leaving the unfortunate defender still alive for Thermite had to take away from the game. But still, a 4v5. So even at that, it's a pretty substantial uh, way to get yourself even in the last about minute of the round. Of course, still lots of angles being held. No real execute has been made so far, even though the attackers do seem to be forming up pretty well. So, within the next 30 seconds, if they are able to form up and maybe get a few more entry frags, able to walk into the objective, they are going to be really poised to win
Maestro's
out the round.
hold. Maestro's hold, you're in
Yes.
classical hallway, is going to fail. He just allowed everybody to pour into the objective. We're now in a 1v5 situation. Vivid here in the vault. He gets the first kill. He is still very good health-wise. However, Diffuser's not planted. That just changed. His health is extremely low, PogChamps. Winning the first round, they just made perfect time. Right at the beginning, they're able to open up the reinforced wall with minimal effort, and from that point on, Maestro could have changed that should he have been able to prevent the attackers from funneling into the objective, but Valkyrie at the rappel window was able to prevent him from holding all the length of the hallway, and at that point, it was just history.
True. I mean, to give a simple ending, a simple analytical way of looking at it, you can definitely put that out there. But of course, there is a little bit more complexities to that round in general, but I don't think,
Indeed.
honestly, I wasn't able to too much pay real good attention to the round itself, so I can't really put in my personal opinion on this. But, yeah, I mean, looking back at the round, one thing to actually note would be that Goyo,
Yes,
he wasn't really too effective. It didn't really put a hindrance on the attackers as much as you normally would expect an operator
he
like that would do.
he actually was a detriment, I would argue,
Really,
given that you had Jaeger defending that hallway right here, and
90.
admittedly he was flashed, and that's why he ran away. But Ash destroying that Vulcan shield really prevented him from coming back. So it's kind of like a smoke toxic babe. It prevents both parties from engaging into that firefight should you want to go into the cloud of smoke. In that instance, we're talking about flames, but the result is the same. It blocked the hallway. It was an angle that was being held by the defenders, not the attackers, and thus it was used against bread baggers here.
yeah, interestingly enough, yeah, it was used against the defenders. So with this scenario, I mean, yeah, you could definitely
Well,
say that it was a smoke canister, that it could be used in the same way. So my question is, why would the defense rather choose to use Goyo over smoke? I mean, because of course they get that extra flavor really with smoke rather than they do Goyo, right? It's more of an area of effect. It's more, it's rather than it being stationary, you can actually throw them, right? Smoke is the OG op to Goyo itself.
he is. He is.
So why would you use Goyo over smoke? That's the question. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Now let's take a look at the round. So Ash is going to be probing down 90 with her drones. However, we might be able to see a potential flank coming from Jaeger. He was sitting in first floor. So if he does choose to be active throughout the round, he might actually make a pretty good impact throughout this next about minute and a half so far. But yeah, he is going to be inching through piano, so he might be able to get a little look-see at the main
Oh,
stairs,
he is.
given that the attackers might not take the advantage on him. Of course, Sophia now knows that he's there, and she's going to be on the chase against him.
Actually, she's more than just on the chase. Tito's is in a full-blown retreat. He has to pull back and just not a little bit to make sure that the attackers have lost his track, and thus, well, he will be playing off of time mostly, but on the short term, he really just had to stay alive. The end result will be the same. With only 1 minute remaining, we're only really beginning to push on the objective, and it does look as if the impact trick from Alibi was able to prevent the plant of the breaching charge. However, Trip and Bad here will be taking a bit of damage due to the smoke canister. So, oh no, my bad. The wall has been opened up, but you only have 40 seconds to push into that, and the smoke canisters will be preventing, or at the very least delaying, the push. As I say this, however, a first kill and a refrag on Giddy. Now well, I wasn't going to say 3v4, but 3v3. 28 seconds remaining on the counter. Are we going to be able to play the diffuser? It does not really look that simple, but playing off of kills is not going to be a walk in the park either. The double kill here could just have happened, but he misses. He gets it! A nice triple kill. Red Baggers, who are not able to win the first round, will win the second one in quite a spectacular fashion.
Wow, I mean, I can't even work right now. I can't even say words, but what we can really account that round to was just the fact that it was last second just running. I mean, it was last second aggression towards the objective. It was their last stand having to push in and make an attempt, and it was very easy to shut down. I mean, this is not something that you would normally see an extremely high level play coming from the attack. It's kind of like their last effort in to take back the objective with seemingly little to no intel. They didn't really know where the defenders were. They kind of just were playing around. They were, holding angles. They were getting really complacent with where they were and indecisive at that. And mixing those two together is a for sure way to lose the round. I mean, we saw here Smoke just took complete advantage of the engagement, right? He took the firefight and twisted it to be his own. Just complete domination.
Absolutely. So that's quite interesting. If we were to go off of the first round alone, it really did seem as if PogChamps would be able to just walk all over Bread Baggers, and though the sample was quite small, it really did seem as if it was going to go PogChamps' way. However, the second round is going to prove that, well, the flawless victory or the easy victory is definitely not going to happen. However, quite surprisingly enough, as a secondary site, we're going kitchen immediately. It is not unheard of, but they're definitely in the minority to have that preference. Oh,
Yeah,
they came up.
of course, with the tertiary site being kitchen, it seems, I believe they can choose a secondary site being statue and, if
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
you're
they
alluding
had
to.
yeah they had the choice between statues, kitchen, and the other one which nobody ever uses. But they chose kitchen instead of statues, which is in and of itself not unheard of, but an oddity.
Yeah, it really is an oddity, the way you put it, but with it being a tertiary site, there's really two ways that the defense could be taking this. They could either do it to be throwing off the attack, or they could be doing it for the fact that they're more well versed on kitchen rather than statue. They feel that they're more confident on it, being able to hold it, rather than just, the old run of the mill statue and library. But regardless, it was a choice that they made willingly, knowingly, and that's going to have to carry throughout the round. Now, Red Bagger's already at odds, but with a quick refrag, we're going to be seeing Zofia and Lesion being taken out of the round very, very quickly here within a 1 to 30 of the round, especially competitive play, considering that is pretty quick in the game. Now, Laundry is already going to be contested by the attackers. Abana being able to walk in and potentially making her way with hard breaching efforts aimed at the objective itself. So, in the end, this is going to be an outlet that the attackers can make for themselves. That's going to be one step closer towards the main objective.
So interestingly enough, or it was to some extent surprising, the attackers PogChamps had next to full control of the top floor, but with nobody equipped to adequately play off of the verticality, they just had to abandon those positions. Goddess fan trip going in. Will he get the double? He does not, leaving us in a 1v3. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that. What a play on words for that. Oh my gosh. And an amazing round at that. The attackers, again, able to dominate this site. It just, to me, it seemed like by the time the attackers were able to take top floor away from the defenders, it was a lost engagement. It was a completely lost round from that, right? They were able to use the verticality, not only the verticality, but they were able to use horizontal hard breaching efforts to their advantage. It gave them more outlets, more angles into the objective, and of course, angles are your currency. Okay, angles are the way that you can see, just have as much intel as you can into the objective without actually having to take those head-on real engagements. And of course, the angles equate to intel, and intel is one of the biggest cornerstones you're going to get in the 3 minutes
It
of
is.
regulation play.
So this is going to put us to the at that point expected statues fourth round, and all in all, Bread Baggers. I don't know if I can point to a simple or obvious mistake. It does just seem to me as if, well, going just glancing at it, right? Not taking too much time to look at the problem, but it does seem to me as if they're just losing firefights. Once again, to just finish my previous thoughts, they did not really commit any simple mistake I could easily point out. You know.
Well, I think it really might have been, yeah, of course, losing firefights was a big part of it, but I feel like it was really the aggression from the defense, right? I mean, they I feel deja vu saying that aggression. No, they um
I remember.
they they basically Legion and his counterpart on the realm were playing way too aggressive, taking engagements even off of players who were on the repel that they should not have been taking engagements from, that had the obvious advantage against them, and they still ended up playing aggressive and took it, which is kind of a surprise to me considering that they're kind of really supposed to be playing passive up there and wasting the attacker's time. That's the whole idea of Villa, right? You got to play passive and wait out your time. It didn't really seem like the case um with these defenders, so maybe, if they were able to again play a little bit more passive, play off the time, right? They have lots of time to play with, so if they're able to play it more off of the 3 minutes that they're given, they really can make those opportunities for themselves, right? It's all within time. You can get your kills, but you might have to wait out some of your time. That's the whole idea of it, right?
So surprisingly enough, no bandit or mute were in the composition, so Thermite was able to open up the reinforced wall quite easily. If we just look at Goyo real quick, there. Oh no, it's that wall that's been opened up. Nonetheless, so we're going exclusively off of impact nades to protect those reinforced walls. So far, I was mistaken. It does seem to be working, but we are working with just over a minute remaining. He has heard that grenade being cooked. And yeah, the push will have to come up against a still full fat 5-man defense. It is going to be a bit of a challenge, to be honest, to get control of that OBJ in that few that little time, with that many guys still defending it.
Yeah, I mean, of course, not entirely impossible, though. We're not going to
Oh,
count out
definitely.
these
It can
attackers
happen
for it. Yeah,
really
of course.
quickly.
And the fact that they still do have up their complete hard breaching sets, they have up utility, they have up lots of intel gathering, I definitely would not count them out of this fight. As I say this, though, 2v4 situation. It's all happening at once. It's a 1v4, and it's a loss for Pog Champs. Oh, no.
So yeah, we were just
Pog
unable to
Champs.
take control of the objective. All in all, Red Baggers were able to contain PogChamps at Master
You hate to
Bedroom
see it.
and the bathroom.
You
This
hate to see it.
is what happened, basically. There's nothing else to say. PogChamps were unable to make any progress past the initial insertion into the building itself.
Really, it was a bottleneck
Yep.
from PogChamps. It really was. They were stopped, and the fact that they didn't adapt to that, the fact that they didn't move around, try to give themselves that extra mobility, they just kind of kept on pushing and pushing and pushing, and eventually you're just going to get that pushback from the defenders, and that's
Oh
exactly
yeah.
what happened. And for them not to realize that, for them not to come forth and, say, hey, we need to go around, we need to do this, somebody to make that decision for them, that's kind of where it gets shaky, that's kind of where it gets risky, and that's where they lost the round, simply, if you really want to call it that. But regardless, I would have to give props to Bread Baggers for actually having the balls to play aggressive on that. Personally, I would have played it definitely a lot differently than they, but of course, they are the residing competitive players. They do know, I guess they do know best for their team, but
That's why they're the players and we're not.
right, right. So we can't really make any big opinions on the way that they play, but
Oh.
we can um well, we could just comment about it and point those strategies out and make what we can of it.
You know what? Here is my question. Will we, referring to previous game, to the previous game, will we see another Red Stars hold? It does seem like it with the barbed wire and the ADS device. For those of you in chat that were not looking at, that were not here during the previous game, for example, if you're a fan of either one of the teams, you most likely weren't here last game. The hold on the red stairs, if done correctly, can cut off and stop dead in its tracks any and all push that does come from master bedroom, astronomy, and that general area. We've seen he got how many kills the Jaeger last game? 4 kills holding red
Oh,
stairs.
at least four. I
It
mean,
was not an
one
ace, but
round.
yeah,
He's
yeah, in a
gotten
single
up
round.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's gotten many kills from it. I mean, it depends, of course, on the player and the
Oh, it
positioning, the
does.
way that you play it. But in the end, the hold itself proves to be extremely effective, right? Not only are you holding an upstairs hold, but you're holding downstairs as well as that. So it really comes as a dual function, and the fact that one player itself could hold it with little to no support is again a feat of its own. But regardless, we will be seeing Hibana picking up the study wall. That's actually a pretty big play on her part, especially at the beginning of the round. Of course, it gives the angles that we love to see throughout the round, and it kind of makes the defenders have to scramble in a way to where they're out of the sight of the Hibana, and now they're gonna have to really watch out for that for the rest of the round.
Look at that cross angles. We have Maestro holding the classical hallways. Legion in red stairs currently flashed, admittedly, and it looks like he'll be picked off. He failed to realize somebody was even lower on their staircase than him, thus clearing up that general area. Giddy has taken the classical hallways, 90 hallway, as we like to call it. So he is still holding the angle. However, it is not going to be worth much if Chala is already further than what he was able to see. The one tap just does not happen here, but he gets the kill nonetheless. Chala has no control on the objective, so it's all going to be up to Vivid, assuming he just stays there, which obviously he will not. Nonetheless, 35 seconds remaining. The final push is bound to happen shortly. Let's just keep an eye on the diffuser itself. Chala, should he get picked off, admittedly he's quite isolated right now, that could be a major setback considering there's only 20 seconds remaining and he's going to be really low due to that smoke canister. Zofia will be doing her best. Giddy getting a nice little kill. However, Goddess will not be pushing in anytime soon. Chala is going to be alone. He has no chance but to plant the diffuser. Giddy will try to prevent that, but Goddess right here will cut off that rotation. And no! He dies due to the smoke. This is good round, but Bread Baggers are gonna get the W simply due to the time, and I don't exactly believe Hibana should have stayed on the rappel line that late in the round. As you see, there was just no way for a plan B to be put into action.
If the Zofia, I believe it was, who was repelling the Hibana, if the Zofia had played more aggressive in terms of being able to hold Nomad's cross angles and protect her a little bit better from the smoke, then that round proceeding would have happened very, very differently. We can assume this from the fact that Habana was set in place to hold the cross angles, right? She was ready to basically win out the round for her team. If the Nomad had actually gotten down the plant without being hesitant, she would have had that extra support player with her, then she definitely would have had that type of confidence to walk into the objective, make the plant, have the support to know that she is covered on the plant, and have the Zofia take away anybody who opposes that, i.e. Smoke and or Alibi. So in the end, was it really worth it for the Habana to stay on the rappel? Yes, it was, but was it worth it for the Zofia to stay on the rappel and or the Habana to not give the support to the Nomad at all? No, it was not.
So looking at the current round, this is the 6th round, last round before the role swap, and the scores really are neck and neck. We are set to see another game that's going to be just as close as the first that we have witnessed so far. Pronunciation, thank you myself. So I am all for it. You know, those close games are what we live for as casters. Zofia, I don't even know how to pronounce that name. Maybe the chat can help me, or
Jarvis.
you. Yes, yeah, I was just stuck on
We
the
actually
SM.
were talking about that. One of the games that we've casted before for
Yes,
PogChamps.
yes, my bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
somebody
Jarvis.
somebody got it pronunciation for us. It is Jarvis, but sorry, you can go back to what you're saying.
Yeah, once you know, it seems obvious, but yeah, He did open up a few lines of sight, so he destroyed a few soft barricades, thus enabling him to, well, peek into the different rooms. He has so far seen no roamers, but obviously a quick glance is not going to be enough. If we take a look in third person, we can see that it is actually crawling with Bread Baggers players. Guy on a bar. First of all, there's also going to be Legion, yes, and Vivid was, I believe, quite close to the staircase. He's moved since, but yeah, he was at a certain point. The first reinforcement available should anything go south, which so far it does not seem to be happening, as Red Baggers are winning the first engagements here.
Yeah, so something interesting to point out is the fact that this is the first time that we have seen throughout two games that Twitch is going to be used.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
So the fact that Twitch is in here, I can only assume that she's going to be a comfort operator, especially with her F2 and ACOG. Of course, both of her shock drones are actually out of her possession right now. So, I mean, yeah, I think she's actually has the opportunity to drone, like they're placed in the map somewhere. But so far, yeah, she just seems to be pretty idle, sitting on the rappel. So I can only imagine that she's going to be there as like a tertiary angle holder for the strategy that's being pulled out. But yeah, we'll have to see as the round goes on. 3v5, however, with Habana and Nomad now being taken away from the round. Habana being a very big player in terms of getting that wall open, getting that angle open into the objective. That's going to be a very, very big damper. Now, as I say, this pulse as well is going to take the refrag, but with Thermite not taking no damage. Of course, it's going to take lots of collateral. That's going to be one kill, and that's going to be the double, finishing off the round. Oh my gosh, Vivid. Just
Swift
completely
ending.
demolishing. Yeah, it was a
Oh,
swift ending.
nicely done. All in all, he just had an unexpected positioning, and knowledge is power, and lack of knowledge is, well, a quick way to a near certain defeat.
Truthfully, I agree with you more, especially when you're facing down the barrel of the M59.
And they were within like 10 feet, so there's nothing they could do to
Yeah.
evade this destruction.
And I feel so bad too because either you're gonna get the most consistent gun in the entire world, or you are going to get the most inconsistent, like one pellet off, you immediately lose the round gun. It's absolutely crazy, and the fact that that worked out for him is Ubisoft's way of saying that they love him, I guess. I don't know.
The Ubisoft gods have blessed him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in all fairness, that shotgun can be quite unpredictable as soon as you are outside of that well, optimal range. I was looking for that word. Sorry, my bad. Goddess will be placing. I will cut that name short, but we all know I'm not referring to the Goddess. With that being said, the Black Eyes, two of them will be on the south side of the building, so we definitely want to know who and where people are going to be coming from if the push is to originate from study, and the third Black Eye will go in that direction again, or that general area, more or less to prevent the diffuser from being planted or to see if the diffuser is being planted. However, that will, well, by extension, imply that Chala here will be working with very little intel or any other type of help from his team. He will be on his own.
He will, but we're going to be seeing a Bandit and a Valkyrie, along with Legion being used here in, well, cooperation, I guess, with each other. Quite interesting to see the fact that Legion is going to be used here. So, Legion as an operator, what are your opinions
Yes.
on him as we kind of go into this round?
Useful for intel mostly. If you step foot in the goon line, it does make noise. You know where he is, and you are really, really well able to get a kill, considering your opponent's going to be incapacitated. Unlike just a standard Valkyrie camera, which will just plain out see you. Which is why he can be really useful at the later stage of the round. We know how those goo mines regenerate, which is going to make it extra unfortunate that Jarvis is going to be the first pick here for Bread Baggers. There is going to be another contender here. It does appear to be Valkyrie. The camera has been shut down, but not before we're able to to gather a bit of intel on the attackers' whereabouts and identities. So we know who we're going up against. but Valkyrie will not be playing overly aggressive. The name of the game is to play for time as much as possible. Once again, the firefight is not going to claim anybody's lives, but there is barely just over a minute, 15 remaining on the clock, and the pressure on the objective is set to mount.
Definitely, but with Jaeger sitting at 90, he does put himself in a position to dismount that pressure if he does so choose. But unfortunately, he is going to get down. So that's just one more kill that's leading us into a potential win for the attackers. But with me just saying that, yeah, it's going to be Thrasher. Oh my gosh. And Zofia going down with more kills put on
It
the
does not
board.
stop.
That's going to be a refrag 2v3 situation with about 40 seconds left in the round. Oh my gosh, I was stuttering there. Wow.
It's quite looking quite good for the attackers, to
Speechless.
be honest. However, if IQ sets foot on Igumine, she is done for. So that cassette threat, referring to the elite operator's gadget name, is going to be quite important for IQ. I really dearly hope you don't set foot on a Igumine, because that would be extra awkward considering your gadget. So we are set to jump into our final firefight for IQ here, possibly. And luckily enough, the smoke isn't tossed in her direction, because she would not have time to run out of the cloud should it be tossed adequately. But with 5 seconds remaining on the clock, you don't really have the time to push in considering the smokes. And here we will see Ghost getting a kill. He will get a double. The triple, actually, with the SMG-11, which I did not quite catch. The first one was down. He gets a second kill with a shotgun. Turns around, gets the third kill. Nice three-piece.
Look at the range on that shotgun. That was across the room.
That was IQ, though. She was like 5 health. So
True.
this explains that, but
Well,
admittedly,
no,
he was
because
outside of the
it actually was
shotgun.
an IQ that was...
It was not?
No, because IQ walked in through Aviator.
Well, we will see that replay again, but definitely, indeed, he was outside of the optimal range of a shotgun. He either got lucky or was up against another opponent that was roughed up quite a bit. Maybe IQ, maybe somebody else had lost health in the meantime. So let's just take a look at that. Goddess, by the way, was able to destroy a few Hibana pellets, thus making the hole quite small. Not that it really mattered in the long run, but he kind of inadvertently shot down that possible push as well by doing so. So Ghost gets the first kill. Yeah, Hibana was lit.
Yeah, no. It was
No, that
Buck.
was IQ.
That was Buck. And he was half health. Buck was half health, and he got shot down by the shotgun. It wasn't even, it wasn't even the bandit. It wasn't even the bandit.
Both kills. Let's just let the replays loop again. Both kills with the shotgun were quite lit, to be honest. Hibana was
okay,
put down
let's
with the SMG.
look at this though, right?
Yeah.
He
Let's
only
look at this.
had half health. Okay, and he got shot from across the room.
You know, sadly, Sadly, this is not a flat-out VLC window capture, so I cannot like just pause it or play it in a slow motion. But we will see this really shortly. IQ is lit. Hibana will be very low as well. Buck. Okay, so Hibana is down here. He gets Buck. He will flick, and IQ will be the third one to get downed. So both shotgun kills were long range. Absolutely.
Right. I mean, we're not going to dispute that one. That's funny though. I just thought that was something funny to look at. Either way.
We have
it is
not
going to be
looked...
a 3-4 round score line. PogChamp obviously being 3, Breadbaggers being 4.
Let me just look at the defense really quickly, because we have not seen anything at all. 3 reinforcements right here. 3 here as well. The roamers are going to be Jarvis in the bottom floor. Smoke on OBJ. Doc probably is... yeah, he is. Trippin' Bad also droning or using the cameras on the objective itself, leaving us with only Pulse. Jarvis being the roamer, or any way you want to put it, outside the objective, except for Ghost, who is just holding a proxy site. And now Trippin' Bad also exited the OBJ. So,
right, we
go ahead.
can't count Pulse out. Sorry to cut you off, but we can't count Pulse out of the proceeding here, especially because he's got the ability to feed intel, he's got the ability to kill with the nitrocell, and not only that, he's got the ability to flank. So if the attackers aren't playing carefully enough, if they aren't watching their angles enough, which so far it doesn't seem like they have any flank denial. So if they don't play carefully enough on actually specifically watching angles, they might be at a bit of a deficit here when it comes to the Pulse, so he could be quite a detriment to the actual attacking strategy.
And if I may put it that way, I see very little. Actually, IQ is the first anti-roaming effort I'm seeing here, so Jarvis could have been easily overwhelmed should he face a coordinated push from many attackers at once, but it just does not happen, and he just gets the Nitro Cell kill here. So will IQ get the refrag, avenge his fallen teammate? It does not look like it, and, well, you know, Pulse, as you said, is good at, first of all, feeding intel to his teammates, but gather intel for his own sake, and he will know that IQ's right here. Will he come back up the stairs? It does look like it, and Smoke is now definitely alerted to his position. He will not get the kill, however. Jarvis still here, still a thorn in IQ's side, but she has, in the meantime, planted a Claymore on her back. And that's not going to matter since Chala gets the kill in a face-to-face firefight.
Yeah, so it's really up to Pulse at this point to either get back to the objective or keep on playing off of intel. It really is his choice. But with 15 seconds left on the clock, it doesn't really leave too much of an opportunity for him. Now Hobana sitting in the objective, a 1v1 situation. That'll happen so quickly. The plant is going to be going down. Chala, he does have full health, so he's got technically the advantage in this engagement. He does know where the Hobana is, but he does get damaged by her. He's going to get killed, and the attackers are going to win out round 8. Oh my gosh, that was at that, you know what, at that point it was a it was a misengagement. It was a failed engagement from Chala. He played way too aggressive on that, and the Habana knew how to outplay him.
Well, that is not going to be putting us at a 3-5 scoreline for teams that are were really neck and neck. Only that slight gap might be really difficult to recover from for PogChamps.
Right. This could potentially mean that, yeah, sorry, I was, you know how I am when
Yeah,
I focus on different things. Yeah, this could potentially be a detrimental blow this round to PogChamps, really.
No, yeah. Considering especially that right here, Bread Beggars are on the offense, and as it's been said in the chat, defense is favored in 80% of the maps, Villa being one of them. Them winning rounds on attack is good news for Bread Beggars. It really does show that they're able to dominate PogChamps on either sides of the game or on either rows of Siege here. So we are going to be going statuaries and trophies once again. Is it hunting? Trophy room. Okay, yeah, it's hunting trophies, but I am just, well, I'm just rambling at this point.
So, okay. So something, of course, somebody actually asked a question about
Yes, go ahead.
yeah, it doesn't matter what side to start on. So obviously that was answered by somebody, but if you guys have any questions in terms of strategy, in terms of the game, do not be afraid to ask them. We will answer them either, you know, when we have free time in the game or after the game. So, or even, you know, maybe a fellow member of chat will answer that for you. But yeah, getting back into the actual game itself, I just wanted to answer that really quickly. Yeah, it does matter what side you start on, especially in Villa. Villa is a very interestingly favored map. It can go either way sometimes. It depends on really the pace of who gets to where to what. It's a lot of different factors. I'm not going to go in it right now, being that we only have 2 minutes left in the round, but I did want to comment on something really interesting to note. The fact that Capitao is being used. So Capitao is
Yes.
not really an operator that gets used quite a lot, especially on Villa. It seems even though he has quite an interesting prevalence when it comes to those bottleneck doorways, such as the bathroom doorway, right? Or the master bedroom doorway, or even the statue doorway, an area where he does shine. So I am quite interested to know why he hasn't been used all too much. You know, he's not a very popular operator on Villa.
Well, his gadget really does speak for itself. He is good to protect the diffuser from being to protect a plant that's currently happening. with the smokes and the area of effect gadget that he does have. But that kind of implies that you're able to get control of the objective in the first place and to plant the diffuser. And Bread Baggers have shown us last round that they're able to quite easily jump into the objective and subsequently plant the diffuser. So maybe that's why they've said, okay, we've seen we're able to jump into the OBJ. Now let's use an operator that can help, well, keep the progress we've made, but ultimately it is going to be speculation, as I feel there is a bit more subtlety and depth to there as that flash bounces off of him. Yeah, I suspect there's a bit more depth or nuance to that strategy, which just does evade us at this time. With that being said, IQ will find herself in a 1v5 situation that does look bad for them, and it is PogChamp winning in a flawless manner.
Yeah, we didn't even really need to put too much excitement into that round, being that it is not really too much of an exciting round. I mean, it's a flawless round, yes, but in the same breath, it really wasn't any overwhelming engagements. Of course, Doc, he really contributed a lot to that round. He was able to get a 2K. He basically deadlocked the attack in all forms. He got the definition, truthfully, of impact frags, right? I believe he was able to get the Thatcher and the Sophia, if I'm correct. Don't quote me on that, but he was able to get quite a lot of good frags for his team. He was able to really just assert his dominance in the bathroom area, and for that he gained control of the bathroom. He was able to basically cut off any opposition. Any opposition from really the bathroom itself, which is pretty good from, standpoint outside looking in.
So, interestingly enough, we're now going to be going downstairs in the kitchen. PogChamps bringing Goyo in the composition, and we've seen how easily they were able to turn Goyo against Bread Baggers when they were defending. Let's just hope, for their sake, that they don't get a taste of their own medicine here, because we've talked about that at length. Goyo can easily be a double-edged sword, just like Castle, but in a different sense. I do hear a barricade being destroyed, Trippin' Bad going for the spawn kill, but it does appear as if nobody on the Bread Bagger side will be spawning at that location, and thus, though I have to commend the attempt, it is going to gather no results whatsoever.
Unfortunate. Actually, you know what? Could you take the casting
Yeah,
for
sure.
me for a
I
second?
sense you're kind of busy, so
Yeah.
I will I can take over. Buck, right, you're definitely taking the intel on the fact that those are Vulcan shields, so should either Zofia, Ash, or himself with a frag grenade destroy those barricades or those deployable shields in the near presence of Doc, should Trippin' Bad step foot or step closer, just 2 small steps, and a Zofia or Ash Charge's effect could be multiplied many folds by that. Or even here, Jarvis is hugging that shield, and he will absolutely pay for it. He is now really low. Doc falling victim to his opponents at the very same time. He will no longer be able to be healed, and thus that damage will be permanent. We do have Ghost on the objective, Goddess as well. Giddy will get the frag on Jarvis, leaving us with Chala, the last remaining roamer. His position was not known, but he just potatoed the ever-living hell out of that. Tito's, though lit and very low on health, well, he's still alive, and his opponent isn't, leaving us with a 2v5 situation for the OBJ. Goddess will be right here underneath the hatch, gets a first kill. However, Jaeger's roam attempt totally failed. It is now going to be a 1v4 situation. Should PogChamp win the rounds, it would be due to a mute ace, which sadly doesn't happen. Vivid here getting another kill, the final kill, so to say, and thus winning the round for him, his teammates, and his team. So,
Yeah,
are you back? You
there
are. Okay.
isn't. Yeah, there isn't really too much else to add to that round. It was an overwhelming win. It came down to control and it came down to the fact that it was really early control from the attackers, right? They were able to get control of master bedroom and shut out a lot of the defenders' well, objective, to say the least. They were able to shut out lots of the kitchen, they were able to shut out lots of the living room area, and through that, they gained most control of the objective within probably the first 2 minutes of the round. And from that, it's just ankle holding, waiting for a defender to get either too aggressive or to show themselves through one of the many verticality angles that they were holding. But yeah, they didn't even necessarily have to get a plant down to win out the round. It just became an all-out domination round for them, a team deathmatch, if you will, and a beautifully executed one at that.
So we're now in a match point situation. Pog champs are, so to say, backs against the wall. But we're defending games room and aviation, which is one of the easiest sites to hold on this map. So maybe they will not lose quite yet. But do you believe or do you think they're able to climb that hill? We're only talking 2 points deficit, but yeah, we've seen how neck and neck these two teams are. So in my mind, it does seem as if it was going to be somewhat difficult to come back from that. What do you think?
I think PogChamps entirely can do that. They entirely can make the comeback. I've seen them do it before. They can have an outstanding performance when their back is against the wall, right? They really have the ability to clutch up and pull it back. It's just they need to realize what they're doing wrong and what they can fix. And if Red Baggers does come out victorious, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised either. I mean, PogChamps, I believe they lost, if I'm correct, the one of the last rounds. Do not quote me on that. You'd have to look back at the ESL round proceedings from the fourth round, but yeah, if I'm correct, I think, yeah, they did lose the last round, but regardless, they have the ability to pull it back. It's just what are they going to do it? Are they just going to be complacent? Are they just going to do the same thing that they've always been doing? Or are they going to try to get creative and make the actual changes that they need to make? That's the big question. But I'm going around in circles, so I'll let you take this one.
So as we can see, the pressure will be steadily mounting on the objective, and I see very little, if any, attempts to shut it down from the defense. Like, there's no roamers that's going to be harassing the attackers. For example, should the roamer get a lucky kill on Hibana, that would be a possible entry point into the objective here that will just not be possible. But PogChamps are playing it quite passively here. Dare I even say too passively? Not really, because having like this combined firepower directed at 2 or 3 possible entryways is going to compound into a massive fighting force. However, they just let themselves be surrounded. They have very little recourse to prevent those frags or anything to be tossed into the objective. Once again, nobody is going to harass the attackers and try to disrupt their plan here. So it does to me as if they're just complacent and just waiting for the push to happen, and it will produce, well, expected results. It is now a 3v5 situation. I'm sorry, 2v5 situation, so it does look like it's the beginning of the end.
Morale is being lost here by the defense. PogChamps slowly coming to a close. They have one operator down. It's a 1v4 situation. Yeah, it is going to be a loss for PogChamps. Red Baggers taking round 11 and finishing off the game. What an amazing performance from them. I have to commend them on that. It was absolutely just fantastic to see them win in that fashion.
Absolutely, and there you go. Personally, that will be it for me, as I will take off here. I believe you will be casting with Razors the third map, or the third game of the night.
I'm actually not to correct you on that, because Razors, he did get off. He was, yeah, he specifically told me, you know, he did not want to continue on his run for the night, which I completely understood. So yeah, he got off. I'm not sure if he's watching this or not, but regardless, Yeah, so after one game, he ended up getting off, which is completely fine, completely understood. But yeah, are we going to be able to
I
continue to
am
cast
sadly
this
not. I
throughout
am
the
not
week?
going to be able to. Oh, to cast this during the week. So, I don't think so, unfortunately. If I was just to kick us into that scene right here, since we are no longer going to be requiring the replays, I believe it's only today and, well, tomorrow. Yeah, 15th of January. Unfortunately, my university had the brilliant idea of giving me or assigning me a class that starts at 7 p.m. and that finishes at 9:45 in the evening.
Oof.
I hate it with a fiery passion, and that's going to be making it so difficult for me to cast round 7, 8, and 9. So all I can hope for is that the grand final or the close qualifiers, who will last a bit longer till Friday, will be still available or free to cast, referring to other casters hugging the matches because. Yeah, I am very limited concerning or because of my classes schedule, and once again, can I just have an 8 to 5 job? Can I just be done with studies? So yeah, that's gonna be the somewhat personal reason why I cannot at all cast round 7, 8, 9 for any open qualifiers. Looking back to the 6 invitational qualifiers, there were 5 of them, so it ran for 5 weeks. For every remaining week, once again, round 7 and 8 and 9, I will not be able to. But Monday and Tuesday, I believe, is the second day of the week in English. If not, I will come off as a total idiot. Idiots, I'll be free for those 2 days of the week. And if not, well, you're always more than welcome to cast with another ESL caster. As you've
Which
seen,
is yeah, which
people
is what
kind
I
of
was
want to
gonna do
have you
too.
on. Yeah. So, should you have liked what I'll point down since your cam's under mine, should you have liked Giraffe Rose casting or more adequately analysis, you're more than welcome to follow her on, let's say, Twitter, and I am sure you will let people know if and when you're casting and on which channel you are. But regarding this week, that's going to be it
Champs is
for
not a
me.
Villa team.
Oh, did you
Oh,
answer? Oh,
did
Pog Champs.
you
Okay.
yeah, did you put in the link to like a command?
Yeah, yeah. Exclamation mark caster.
No, 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 no. Like the
Um, or casters plural. But
no,
what are
I'm
you referring
saying
to?
for our socials.
Uh, yes and no. So, in casters, it answers with at Girafero, which also does happen to be your Twitch, but also your Twitter handle. So people can find you this way. I'm not
Got it.
expressly specifying that it is Twitter or Twitch, but either way, people cannot go wrong since you're using the same, well, say nickname or the same handle on both of these websites. Same for me, so I guess that counts. And if you want me to add anything more next time, just let me
Yeah,
know.
yeah, we can
But
talk
with
about
that
that.
being said, do you want to do a quick little analysis of that last round or the last game, or is it going to be it for us tonight?
Um, well, um, I don't really have too much to say about it because it was kind of like a blur. It really happened all so quick. Yeah, I can see you putting in the replay, so I'll try to make it quick. But
You know I
yeah,
am.
I don't really have too much to say about it. In finality, I don't know. I guess I am at a loss for words. It was a really good performance from both teams. I personally expected, if I were to root for a team, I personally expected PogChamps to win because they are the old reliable, the trusty team that we have played with or really casted with for a while. But I don't know. I feel like this proceeding was really interesting to see, and I'm glad that bread baggers were able to best them in a way. Not to sound very I guess biased towards one team or another, but
But
yeah.
they're the new blood, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess they are the new Pog champs, but other than that, yeah, so if any ESL casters are actually in here and they want me to cast with them, I guess I could like cast with you, like because I'm technically not an ESL caster, so I don't really have very many connections, very many
You're
like plugs too.
you're kind of depending on other
Yeah.
people's goodwill, unfortunately.
Yeah, basically. I mean, Razors wanted to cast with me, well, today, but he was basically the only one, and we never ended up being able to cast with each other anyways. So yeah, if there actually are any any ESL casters, then I don't know if you wanna add me on my Discord or
You know what?
no.
What I could actually do is take a look at who else is ESL casters. I mean, casting tonight. There appears to be Benny and Trick. And even Uzumaki seems to be on. So I guess you could poke any and all of those names I just mentioned. Actually, you know what? Let me just do that myself. Poking Benny. Um,
Operators, you are out of time.
yeah, and let me just blatantly copy and paste that message across the different casters. Trick, however, yeah, he will uh, probably be with. Oh, and Benny's already typing. He'll probably be with Jazzman. So I thought he was gonna be with Jazzman, but looking at Discord, he appears to be playing something else. Sorry, cookies contacted. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I have Benny is going to be taken. So I will let you keep on looking on your own. But with that being said, um, I guess thank you all for being here, because that will be it for me. I will not be casting tomorrow, sadly, for the reasons explained previously. So with that being said, on my part, personally, it's going to be a thank you all for being here. Thank you all for sticking till the end, and I will see you guys next week. I am definitely intending on casting next week. Are you?
Yes.
Oh. All right, fair enough. So once again, let me just prepare that end scene. Thank you all for being here, and we will catch you guys. Come on, we will catch Frick. All right. We'll catch you guys next week. The replays aren't going to be encompassing both games, only the last one. Thank you, OBS, but we will make do with that. For real this time. See y'all next week.